Chapter 330. Xianxia opened the box and saw a delicate dolphin necklace inside. You are so loyal to be my friend. Xianxia punched Lin Mu's chest. Mu Qiqi looked at them from below the stage. She could feel the ambiguous atmosphere even from afar. Only the two people on the stage were still pretending to call each other brothers. Soon Xianxia's car drove into the hotel. But when he saw the extravagant costumes in the birthday hall, he pulled Mu Qiqi out. Childish. I think it's childish too. But it's Lin Mu, and who prepared it. It's very thoughtful. Xianxia reluctantly entered the childish hall and sat down on the lace sofa. Mu Qiqi held his hand and comforted him gently. In fact, Xianxia knew very well that Lin Muan was moved. That was why he prepared all these for Xianxia. Otherwise, why would he spend so much effort? Does that idiot have some misunderstanding about being 20 years old? Are you sure it's not after June 1st? Mu Qiqi could not stand Xianxia's ridicule. She sat down and laughed. But what did it matter? It was fine as long as Xianxia was happy. Soon, a picture of Xianxia when she was 5 or 6 years old appeared on the curtain of the banquet hall. The little girl had a braid and looked very cute. Xianxia was shocked. She quickly punched Lin Muan. Where did you get this? I've never seen it before. I asked your teacher for it. Lin Muan replied. Didn't you start liking that scum from that time? That's why I'm celebrating your birthday today so that you can keep your eyes open in the future. Xianxia looked at her picture. She suddenly remembered her ridiculous life for more than 10 years. Thank you for reminding me. I've been stupid for so many years. It's okay. You're a little stupid and blind, but you're not hopeless. I'll try to save you. Xianxia threw a punch at Lin Muan. Do you really think I'm praising you? Don't find a man who's good to you in the future. Don't be silly and stick to him. Men are cheap. Xianxia listened quietly and did not answer. She didn't know why, but her mind suddenly replayed the scene of Lin Muan sweating for her. Seeing that you still have some humanity left in you, I won't attack you personally in the future. You know how good I am. Lin Muan smiled. Mu Qiqi suddenly felt that they shouldn't stay inside. Xiao, why don't we go home? You also know that you are the third wheel. Xiao looked at Mu Qiqi condescendingly and left quietly with her. Those two did not need an audience at all. They could just make up and direct themselves for the whole night, alright? Of course, no one realized that there were outsiders watching this private party. She was shocked to see Lin Muan and Xianxia being so close. When he got home, he told his parents about it. Come to think of it, Xianxia was just a broken shoe in everyone's eyes. But Lin Muan would rather be with that broken shoe than other innocent young ladies. Would those young ladies be convinced? The other party's parents also called Old Master Lin. Grandpa Lin's face darkened when he heard that. He called his assistant. Go and find out where young master is now. Lin Muan and Xianxia did not notice that Mu Qiqi and Xianxia had left. That was how they usually got along. They would talk and drink merrily in the name of good brothers. It was only when they were almost drunk that Xianxia staggered and realized that Mu Qiqi and Xianxia were not there. Where's Qiqi? Lin Muan held her and laughed. She left a long time ago. You didn't believe me when I told you that you were blind. I had a good time tonight, Lin Muan. The two were drunk in the birthday hall. But they did not know that Grandpa Lin had quietly arrived at the hotel and had someone splash them with ice water to wake them up. Lin Muan opened his eyes and was about to curse when he found his grandfather in front of him. Xianxia had also sobered up beside him. I was wondering where you were fooling around for the whole day. So I didn't wrong you. Grandpa, you don't have the right to talk to me now. Miss Lu, is it convenient for us to talk? Grandpa Lin turned his sharp gaze on Xianxia. Xianxia wiped the ice water off her face and nodded solemnly. But Lin Muan stopped her. Grandpa, I was the one who found her. This has nothing to do with little Pepper. Don't touch her. I just want to talk to her. Why are you so nervous? Of course he was nervous because he knew how vicious his grandfather's words could be. If Xianxia really listened to him, she would never talk to him again. Grandpa, it's Xianxia's birthday today. I'm just celebrating her birthday as a friend. There's nothing else between us. As a friend. Grandpa Lin snorted coldly. I always thought that you are a child who knows what to do and won't let others worry about you. But after seeing what happened tonight, I know that everything you usually show is just an illusion. It's fine if you don't let me talk to Miss Lu alone. I'll just say what I want to say here. No. Lin Mu, and still wanted to protect Lu Xianxian's pride. Grandpa Lin snorted and brought Lu Xianxian to another hall. Lin Mu and sat on the floor, suddenly feeling very guilty. It was not easy for him to open up a little of Lu Xianxian's heart and let her face life again. But with Grandpa Lin's interference she might get into a dead end again. In the space without Lin Mu, Lu Xianxian lowered her head in front of Grandpa Lin. When Grandpa Lin saw that, he could not help asking Lu Xianxian, Mu, and told me before that I should not judge a person by his appearance, and should not use one mistake to judge a person's character. So, Miss Lu, tell me what kind of family education would allow a girl like you to get drunk with a man in a hotel? Lu Xianxian's throat was a little choked. She did not say anything. You should be aware of your and Mu An's status. People like you, your every action is being watched by others. Why can't you be friends openly? Do you really not understand? I don't care if you like Mu An or not. But let me tell you one thing. I will never accept my granddaughter-in-law being dirty. You have a bad reputation now. Do you know how much it affects Mu An? Chapter 331. Who let you in? Old Lin looked at Lin Mu An coldly and asked. Miss Lu, I haven't done anything to your grandson yet. She doesn't want to be your granddaughter-in-law at all. Lin Mu An pushed Lu Xianxian and refuted Old Lin. Go. Lin Mu An, if you don't want to hear worse words, don't leave this place now. I'm sorry today. Lin Mu An said to Lu Xianxian with a pained expression. Lu Xianxian glanced at Lin Mu An and then at Old Lin. She nodded. Then I'll go first. Okay. You can go. But tomorrow I will go to your parents myself and let them know how to discipline their daughter. Don't lead other people's children astray. Lu Xianxian endured the unfair treatment and turned to leave. Because she knew that Lin Mu An would be in more trouble if she stayed. But Lu Xianxian did not return home. Instead she drove to Jingting. Chi-Chi. Mu Chi-Chi was frightened when she saw Lu Xianxian's face full of tears. Did Lin Mu An bully you? Lu Xianxian shook her head while crying. No. Although Mu Chi-Chi was anxious, she had to wait for Lu Xianxian to stop crying. On the other hand, Old Lin hit his grandson's back with a stool. What did I teach you? You can offend anyone. Do you still remember who you are and what kind of status do you have to provoke those shady people with bad reputations? Lin Mu An endured the old man's scolding. He was angry and wronged. From now on, will you still see that ill-mannered woman? I told you that Lu Xianxian and I are just friends. And Grandpa, you really let me see the most despicable side of a man. You are not talking to Xianxian as an elder. You are just bullying the weak. You are insulting and attacking a 20-year-old child. How superior do you think you are? In my heart you are just shameless and stubborn. You value men more than women. You ignore human rights and have no basic respect for women. You can restrict me from making friends and you can hurt Xianxian so that we can no longer contact each other. But in my heart my respect for you has collapsed from this moment onwards. You are only in your 20s? Do you know what life is? Even if I don't know anything, I don't need you to teach me. Since I was born, I have the right to freedom. Lin Mu An retorted coldly. Don't talk so much. When we go back, I want you to go on a blind date and get engaged. Don't forget what kind of status you have used to run amok all these years. When I published my first book, no one knew that I was from the Lin family. After saying this, Lin Mu An stood up. When I get back, I'll immediately change to a pen name that no one will know. I won't use Lin Mu An's identity in public anymore. I'll return everything to you in the Lin family. After saying this, Lin Mu An took off his clothes from head to toe and threw them in front of the old man. I beg you, please let me go. The old man's throat was burning and he couldn't say anything. Only his hands were left, trembling non-stop. You said it yourself. If you insist on getting along with that girl from the Lu family, you don't have to return to the Lin family anymore. I'll pretend that I don't have you as my grandson, and you can forget about getting any benefits from the Lin family. I'm only 21 years old. I don't want my life to be arranged by you and regret it for the rest of my life. After saying that, Lin Mu An walked out of the hotel naked. What was there to be a son of a rich family and a young master of a government? Jingting. Late at night, Lu Xianxian finally stopped crying. She told Mu Chi-Chi, I don't know who told us, but Lin Mu An's grandfather came. We were drunk and he caught us red-handed. Then Lin Mu An's grandfather came to talk to me. Lin Mu An pushed me away to protect me. So, I don't know what's going on with him now. After saying that, Lu Qianqian buried her face in her palms. Lin Mu An's grandfather even said that he's going to look for my parents. After hearing that, Mu Qiqi held Lu Qianqian's hand. Fortunately, that bastard Lin Mu An didn't let you suffer too much. But I'm worried about Lin Mu An. Lu Qianqian looked up with tears in her eyes. My parents are used to it. It can't be helped that they have such a useless daughter. But this time Lin Mu An is going to be taught a lesson by his grandfather. He is the grandson of the Lin family. You don't have to worry too much. Soon Mu Qiqi received a call from Lin Mu An. Is Qianqian at your house? Where are you? I'm at your door. But I'm not wearing any clothes. Can I trouble the crown prince to give me some old clothes? Although Mu Qiqi didn't know what was going on, she still took a set of clothes that Xianxia rarely wore and asked him to give it to him. Xianxia chuckled when he saw Qianqian naked. Did you get robbed? I fell out with my family. Lin Mu An said helplessly. Is Qianqian at your house? Is Jingting a place for clandestine love affairs? Xianxia was a little displeased. Soon they entered Jingting together. It was only then that Lu Qianqian saw Lin Mu An standing behind Xianxia. His figure was different from Xianxiao's. So, it was a little strange for him to be wearing the clothes. Lin Mu An, Qianqian, why are you still crying? Xianxia grabbed Mu Qiqi's hand when he saw her. Let's go upstairs. There's nothing for us to do here. Mu Qiqi smiled and followed Xianxia obediently. I didn't know that Lin Mu An had such courage. Do you think you're leaving the family just by taking off your clothes and showing your attitude? It's not that easy. Mu Qiqi nodded at that. The elders of the big families usually had many tricks up their sleeves. They relied on their blood relationship to control and coerce others. Lin Mu An had yet to see how powerful those tricks were. I hope he can stay strong until the end. Downstairs, Lin Mu An held Lu Qianqian's hand and apologized profusely. It's my fault. It's all my fault. I made you suffer. Your grandfather is your grandfather and you are you. I can still tell. But how are you going to stay with the Lin family after all? Lu Qianqian told him. Don't worry about me. I'm your grandfather after all. I'll be fine after being angry for a few days. Lin Mu An did not tell Lu Qianqian that he had left the Lin family. I'll send you home. It's late now. You can't stay in Jingting. Then where are you going? Lu Qianqian asked Lin Mu An. I'll sleep in the studio. Grandpa might go after your parents tomorrow. Don't worry. My parents won't be bullied so easily. Chapter 332. Since Lin Mu An was serious, old Lin was certainly not joking. It was not impossible for Lin Mu An to leave the Lin family. Early the next morning, old Lin told everyone in the Lin family that Lin Mu An no longer wanted to live as a young master of the Lin family. That was why he was no longer a young master of the Lin family, and the public would no longer have to give him face. In short, the Lin family no longer recognized him. Of course, even if the Lin family expressed their attitude towards Lin Mu An, they would not leave out the Lu family. Old Lin personally went to Lu Holdings and requested to meet Papa Lu. Papa Lu did not know why old Lin came because he did not interfere with his daughter's friendships. Still, he was wary when he saw the Lin family's aggressive attitude. May I know what business you have with me, Boss Lin? Papa Lu did not remember having much of a relationship with the Lin family. I'm here today because of your daughter and my grandson. Old Master Lin opened the door and said to Papa Lu, since you're both smart people, I'll be straightforward. Your daughter's current condition makes it unsuitable for her to be with someone else's young master. I'll discipline my grandson, but I'll have to trouble you to discipline your own daughter as well. What do you mean, Elder Lin? Papa Lu's face darkened. It seems that you don't know about it. Last night it was your daughter's birthday and the two of them got drunk in the hotel lobby. Papa Lu asked old Lin in return, since it was not a room there must have been someone else there. It's not like they were alone, is it? I don't know if they were alone, but I do know that it was ugly. My grandson is innocent and he still has to face others in the future. At that, Papa Lu finally understood why the old man came to Lu Holdings early in the morning. Being protective of his daughter, Papa Lu naturally did not give him a friendly look. Elder Lin, are you misunderstanding something? Our Lu family is a big family and we won't let her marry just anyone. Who can say for sure about the officials these days? Who knows, if she falls from her position we would have to be separated by a wall in the future. I naturally know how to discipline my daughter. Of course, since Boss Lin has come all the way here, I can't let you return empty-handed. Xiao, go and invite Miss Lin here. Because Lu Xianxian was also in the company training to be her successor. After a while, Lu Xianxian entered the reception room and walked up to Papa Lu. Dad, are you and the grandson of the Lin family a couple? No. Lu Xianxian shook her head. Since they're not a couple, why are you so busy, Elder Lin? And Xianxian, can you set your sights higher when it comes to making friends? Old Master Lin was naturally enraged, but he was still in the Lu family's territory. Dad, I'll pay attention in the future. It's not that I want to criticize you, but your father is an all-powerful figure in the business world. Who hasn't he met? In the future, all you need to do is find someone who treats you well. What official's son? What third generation? They're all empty words. If a person's soul isn't clean, even if his body is clean, it's useless. Old Master Lin didn't get anything and returned in disappointment. He did not expect Papa Lu to be so protective. Dad, I've embarrassed you again. Looking at Lu Xianxian's expression, Papa Lu quickly said, it's not your fault. What right does an outsider have to criticize my daughter? And are you really close to that boy from the Lin family? Dad, you don't object, do you? He's a good man. But his family is difficult. Still, Papa Lu did not interfere with Lu Xianxian because he knew that she was one of his daughter's last friends. I'm still young and can still protect you. But what will you do when I'm old and useless? I won't. I'll never be old. Lu Xianxian threw herself into her father's arms. Still, Lu Xianxian's heart ached at Lin Mu An's current situation. The young master of the Lin family was chased out by his family just because of her. So she planned to visit Lin Mu An later. He wondered how he was doing in the studio. Old Master Lin asked his men to find the best young lady from the aristocratic families, and asked her to be similar to Mu Qiqi. In less than 2 days he got the name list. His assistant told Old Master Sheng about the most suitable candidate. Miss Gu, be it in terms of background or appearance, is the most suitable candidate for the chairman. Her father is a diplomat, her mother is in the shipbuilding industry, and her grandfather's background is even more extraordinary. Old Master Sheng looked at her photo and then at the background. Compared to others, Mu Qiqi was like the difference between heaven and earth. Only a girl like her would be a good match for Xing Shao. What do you think? However, they were, after all, a powerful family. This matter wasn't something that could be facilitated by the old master's wishful thinking. The other party's family had to be willing as well. Whatever the case may be, Miss Gu had caught Old Master Sheng's eye. She was the most ideal candidate for his granddaughter-in-law. Of course, Old Master Sheng was very secretive about it and did not let anyone know about it. Otherwise Xing Shao would make a big fuss. On the other hand, Mu Qiqi had gotten a place to accompany her tutor on a field trip. She was attending a speech at the university. Mu Qiqi did not know who the speaker was, but found his face rather familiar, as if she had seen him somewhere before. Mu Qiqi scratched her head and asked her classmate, "Who is he?" She smiled and rolled her eyes. "Why are you here if you don't know who he is?" "I'm here to wait for my tutor," Mu Qiqi explained. "All right." His surname is Su, and his family is mainly involved in the research of medical equipment. They have made great contributions to the medical field. Are you interested in him, Qiqi? Isn't the crown prince going crazy? No, I just have a feeling that I've seen him somewhere. Mu Qiqi explained. He's very good. He's in his early 40s and has won many international awards. Mu Qiqi was not interested in those things. Of course, she could not connect that man with anyone's face at the moment. Moreover, the world was so vast that it was not unusual for there to be similarities, and it was not worth her special attention. My tutor is coming out. I'm leaving. Mu Qiqi rose from her seat and followed her tutor. Still, she paid special attention to the man's identity. Su Yihong. You're lucky today. Today's field trip is a major murder case, but you must be mentally prepared. The scene will stink, and most importantly, I won't walk around or touch anything because I have to protect the scene. Mu Qiqi finished her tutor's words. Chapter 333. Mu Qiqi was just a freshman. She was obviously the least qualified to stand in front of the fifth-year seniors. The group followed the forensics team to the crime scene, and Mu Qiqi could smell the stench of corpses from afar. It was winter. Even if Jianchuan was not as cold as other places, the time of death would not have been short if the corpses had such a stench. The others covered their mouths, but Mu Qiqi was the only one who appeared overly calm. The tutor was in front. After looking at the 3 corpses, he asked the students, "Can you find any valuable clues from the scene?" The corpses were in the bushes. 2 men were lying on their sides in an irregular pattern, while the other half of a woman's body was submerged in the water, while her lower body was stuck in the mud by the shore. The students took a careful look and took a few steps back. They had no clue. After all, it was the first time they had seen such a disgusting scene. Meanwhile, Mu Qiqi kept observing. She did not dare to move around, afraid that she would destroy any clues. "What about you, Qiqi?" "Tutor, she's just a freshman. What could she know? And she's a delicate rich wife." One of the seniors began to mock her. There was some distance between the 3 corpses, which was why Mu Qiqi could only see the woman's corpse. Although the female corpse's head is facing the water, she must have been drowned. Look carefully at her legs, they are crossed in an X shape. This is because after she died, the movement of the water changed the direction of her body. Why wasn't she washed away? Because she must have been kneeling and her knees and thighs were too deep in the mud. After hearing this, the tutor nodded. "If you were given a chance to get close to this female corpse, would you be able to estimate the approximate time of her death?" There are many ways to determine the time of death. An autopsy is needed. "Tutor, it's impossible to get accurate information by getting close to the corpse." The tutor nodded. Still, he suddenly felt that Mu Qiqi was born to be a forensic doctor. "Is this your first time?" "Yes." Mu Qiqi nodded. "Why aren't you throwing up?" "I don't think it's that disgusting." Because of her reverence for the dead, she did not find it scary when she remembered her mother's charred body when she died. "I'll bring you out often in the future." The instructor felt that he was a good seedling. "I brought you here today to let you see how a forensic doctor works. We'll talk about the rest in the future. Do you want to take a look at the forensics department?" "Of course I do. I think it's better if we don't go." A few of the senior brothers couldn't take it anymore. After all, it was a huge case the moment they arrived. "Then come with me, Qiqi." "All right." Mu Qiqi nodded. Mu Qiqi looked at the time and felt that it was too late. She was about to call Xianxia, but just as she took out her phone, Xianxia called her. "Little one, you can't move when you see a corpse? You don't even know how to go home." "I'll be right back. I'm at the entrance of the Criminal Investigation Unit." "Come out," Xianxia said and hung up. Meanwhile, Mu Qiqi carefully sniffed herself to see if there was any strange smell. When she saw Xianxia outside, she ran to him with a smile. However, Xianxiao's nose was very sensitive. "Now you're a real stinky thing. I can't smell it. Go back and take a bath." Xianxia ordered and brought Mu Qiqi back to Jingting. Before Mu Qiqi could say anything, he dragged her upstairs and threw her into the bathtub. "Can you take it?" "What? I'm the only student who didn't puke today." "Xiaoxiao, I don't know why. I was only thinking about deciphering the secrets left behind by the deceased and finding the murderer. That's why I didn't notice the stench at all." "That's right." Xianxia pinched Mu Qiqi's nose as he washed her hair. "I've really underestimated you. My Xingzhao's woman is so different. You're going to stink in the future." "Well, I'll have to force myself to wash you a few more times." In the real world, there were many people who would stay away from forensics. Even ordinary people would do that, let alone Xingxiao, the crown prince of Huangyao. Even so, he had never disrespected anyone's profession. It was also one of the reasons Mu Qiqi loved him wholeheartedly. Because it was a personal charm that not everyone could achieve. "Grandpa won't want to see me when he finds out." "What does it have to do with Grandpa if you live with me for the rest of your life?" "Really? Not a shadow?" Many people would say that they would think of dismembered corpses when they see a forensics doctor. "Silly thing, you've grown up. You've become more mature." Mu Qiqi used to avoid the Mu family at all costs, and now the little one was not even afraid of corpses. Wasn't her improvement 1,000 miles in a day? Grandpa Xing didn't have the energy to discuss Mu Qiqi's profession at the moment, because he was trying to reach an agreement with the Gu family. After all, Xingxiao had a fiancé now, and it wouldn't be easy to mistreat the Gu family. If the Gu family agreed, he would find an excuse to bring Miss Gu into the Xing family, claiming that she was the granddaughter of an old friend. Then she would familiarize herself with the Xing family Huang Yao and Xiao. When the time was right, he would have Xiao dump Mu Qiqi and officially marry Miss Gu. Still, whether it would work or not depended on whether the young lady of the Gu family was really interested in Xiao. If this matter went smoothly, he would invite her to his home during his birthday banquet in March. Of course, he wouldn't reveal Miss Gu's identity then, but he would let Mu Qiqi know how powerful her opponent was. 8 o'clock at Lin Mu An's studio. Now that the Lin family had announced that they had cut ties with Lin Mu An, many people who were interested in his background took the chance to kick him when he was down. Moreover, when Lin Mu An told his agent that he would change his pen name and bury the name Lin Mu, his agent thought that he was crazy. You know how the market is now, but you're telling me that you're not going to use the name Lin Mu An anymore. Then, everything you've accumulated will go to waste. Not only that, you'll have to start all over again. Do you know how difficult it is to start all over again? I'm not afraid of difficulties. Lin Mu An, wake up. Is it worth it for a woman? As a matter of fact, Lu Qianxian was outside his studio. She heard their conversation and she felt terrible. Do you think that I can't achieve anything without the Lin family? Isn't that so? I didn't rely on the Lin family, but I still became famous. Lin Mu An retorted. I have the ability, but I won't force you if you don't believe me. Chapter 334. Why do you all think I'm doing this for Xianxian? Lin Mu An asked in return. Not for anyone but myself. Do you want me to follow Grandpa's arrangements and marry a woman I don't know and live like this for the rest of my life? What's wrong with Grandpa arranging things for you? A young master like you has never suffered and only knows how to be willful and reckless every day. How do you know I've never suffered? Lin Mu An retorted. Realizing that he might have said the wrong thing, the manager quickly turned his face away. I only know now that in your heart, I'm just a useless young master who only knows how to rely on my family. Young Master Lin, you're not. I understand. I don't want to be a burden to you either. You should go and find a positive boss who knows how to grasp opportunities. The two quarreled and the manager could only sigh and leave Lin Mu An's studio. But the moment he opened the door, he saw Lu Qianxian behind it. Lin Mu An's manager was stunned, but he still left without looking back. Lu Qianxian quickly went in and put the cake on the table. Then she asked Lin Mu An, didn't you say that your grandfather would only be angry for a few days? Little Pepper. Lin Mu An shrugged. I'm not as weak as you think. I can live on my own even if I leave the Lin family. Actually, your manager is right. How many people want a chance like yours? You think so too. Lu Qianxian smiled and gave him the cake. I believe you can be independent, but I don't believe you can escape from your grandfather. Have you ever been poor? I didn't eat for 2 days and hid under a bridge for 3. Does that count? Actually, I have the courage to leave the Lin family completely. Lin Mu An smiled at Lu Qianxian. Do you know what I did behind my grandfather's back before I started writing my book? I enrolled in the police academy to escape from my grandfather's control. The military and the police are 2 different systems, and I don't want to be under my grandfather's control. But he threatened me with illness, so I quit school. And then I started writing my book. Lu Qianxian felt as if she had met a new Lin Mu An at that. This kind of feeling was actually quite good, because she knew that Lin Mu An wasn't the kind of secular young master who was willing to accept being suppressed by his family. He could endure hardship. Then what are your plans now? I want to apply to resume my studies. Maybe you don't believe me, but before you appeared, I did think about staying in my grandfather's palm for the rest of my life. But when he treated you like that, I thought to myself, why would I sacrifice my youth to protect someone I don't think is worth it? Although I was born in the Lin family, I have my own ideals. I am also an independent person. I don't want to make those socialites happy every day, I just want my good friend to be happy. After Lu Qianxian heard this, she held Lin Mu An's hand. Since you want to do this, then let's do it. We're all adults. Make your choice and bear the consequences. As long as you don't regret your choice, I don't think there's anything to hesitate about. You won't lose me as a friend. Little Pepper. Maybe you're the only one who supports me like this. You're wrong. There's also Qiqi. He's my best friend. If I support you, she will support you too. Moreover, think about it. She's the fiancée of the Xing family's crown prince. But she didn't change her course to study finance or management. She's still studying forensics. You're both people who hold on to your dreams. At Lu Qianqian's words, Lin Mu and ate the pastries she bought. Let's do that. But I'm going back to school. You have to visit me often. Got it? Who asked you to suffer in there? I'll give you more drumsticks when I go back. With that, both of them laughed. What poor people did every day was to change their fate through hard work. It was the same for the rich. So what if they were rich? They had no choice in their lives. With that decision, Lin Mu and went to school early the next morning and asked his tutor to resume his studies. Lin Mu and was actually a good seedling. It was just that his grandfather kept interfering with his dangerous work. That was why the school was helpless at the time. Now that Lin Mu and returned on his own, the tutor could not be happier. Still, he was worried that his grandfather would stop him again. What if your grandfather gets sick and threatens you again? That's because I'm unfilial. He was too young to be frightened then. But this time it was different. Tell me, what made you change like this? What made you so determined? You have a girlfriend? Lin Muan smiled, looking silly. We're just friends. But he wanted to protect Lu Qianqian. He had met a scumbag before and was now discriminated against by others. He wanted a strong body and strong will. Wouldn't that make him better able to protect his friends and lovers? He just did not know how old Lin would feel when he learned that he had resumed his studies. Meanwhile, Lu Qianqian worked even harder because of Lin Muan's encouragement. Because she could feel Lin Muan's passionate friendship, it was more precious than anything to her. What Lin Muan wanted to change was what she wanted to change too. There were too many doubts and speculations about young people in this world. But could they not be forgiven after making a mistake? Lu Qianqian did not believe it. On the other hand, old Xing had contacted the Gu family. But they had not officially met yet. Perhaps because of his guilty conscience, Grandpa Xing had not been bothering Mu Qiqi even verbally. Mama Xing almost thought that he had changed. After sixth brother had messed up Huang Yao, he knew where he stood. Even if he still hated Mu Qiqi, his most important goal now was to find his sister. Xing Minghui was nowhere to be found, and old Xing regretted it very much. There were only 2 daughters in the Xing family. Now that 4th sister was driven away and 7th sister was chased out, old Xing felt that it was not perfect to have one less daughter in the Xing family. He thought to himself that he should find some time to visit Minglan and bring her back. At most, he would not interfere with her company. But he did not know that Xing Minglan and Jing Yun were living together now. He would probably go crazy if he saw them. Late at night, Mu Qiqi was sitting on the sofa at home thinking about who that Su person looked like. Chapter 335. What is it, Miss Mu Qiqi? Miss Qiqi, Jing Yun asked. There's a man with the surname Su who has been giving a speech in Xingting these few days. He looks very similar to you. I noticed him the first time I saw him, especially his eyes. Mu Qiqi took out her phone and showed him a photo. After listening, Jing Yun took the phone and looked at it and was a little surprised. Don't they look alike? Won't we know if we check? Xianxia was not obsessed with photos. He would know everything after a DNA test. But how do we get his DNA? Are we going to ask for it directly? Let's check his background first. Xianxia did not want to disturb Jing Yun's mind right now. The world is so big. There are always people who look alike. You're right, Xiao. This was the first time Jing Yun felt something strange in his heart. He had never hoped that his family would still be alive. Whether he could find them or not, he was already very satisfied with his current life. In fact, it was good to maintain the status quo. From the looks of it, he doesn't actually want to cause trouble and distance himself from 4th sister. Xing Zhao's words exposed Jing Yun's inner thoughts. I think you should figure out where you come from. It's your choice whether you want to recognize your family. Mu Qiqi believed that no one would want to live their entire life muddle-headed. Even Jing Yun would want to know who his parents were and why they left him alone in the first place. Jing Yun looked at the photo. He had a plan in his mind. Do you remember why I insisted that Chia return to the Shen family? Although it would not help Grandpa Shen to acknowledge Mu Qiqi's identity, he could not stop them from getting engaged because Mu Qiqi was a member of the Shen family. Jing Yun understood what Xing Xiao meant. Having a family and not was like heaven and hell. I'll handle it. Xing Xiao did not say anything else. He hugged Muqiqi and said to Jingyun, "Then why aren't you leaving? Is there no one waiting for you at home?" Xiao. Muqiqi couldn't help but hit Xianxia's chest. How could he chase away a guest like that? Jingyun received the order and left Jingting. On his way home he thought about many things. When he reached home, Xing Minglan had already prepared dinner. Jingyun saw her busy figure and quickly hugged her from behind. "What's going on today? Did eighth brother bully you? Didn't I tell you? You're his brother-in-law now." "No, I'm just too hungry." "Then hurry up and eat." Xing Minglan picked up the utensils and was about to leave when Jingyun took them from her and put them down, before lifting her up and placing her on the counter. "Jingyun." Xing Minglan was startled. "I'm sorry. I'm too hungry." Jingyun apologized softly before kissing her lips. His hunger wasn't his stomach's. Xing Minglan was stunned. How difficult was it for a blockhead like Jingyun to play tricks? Soon they forgot that there was food on the table outside, and the kitchen became their new pleasure ground. As it turned out, Jingyun was not as calm as he usually was when he did such things. But in the middle of the night, Jingyun suddenly woke up from a nightmare. He let go of the woman in his arms and looked at the time. It was only 3 in the morning, but for some reason he had not had such a dream for a long time. In the dream he was abandoned by a tall man in a world of ice and snow. He could not see the man's back clearly, but he remembered what he said. "This place is very far from home. You will never find your way home." Jingyun suddenly couldn't tell if it was a dream or reality. He looked down at Xing Minglan beside him. She was fast asleep. Jingyun did not wake her up and instead quietly got up. His birth was like Pandora's box. Once opened, it might not necessarily be a scene of separated relatives hugging and crying. 2 days later, at the Lin residence. At first, Grandpa Lin wanted to cut off his grandson's source of income and teach the rascal a lesson. But until now he hadn't even heard from Lin Mu-en. Was this child really angry? Was he hiding? Grandpa Lin spent some effort to find Lin Mu-en, but Lin Mu-en's former manager told him, "Your grandson no longer wants to listen to your arrangements. He insists on being independent, so I hope you won't come looking for him in the future. Look, the company is planning to take all his promotions and works off the shelves." Grandpa Lin immediately felt that something was wrong. He even sent someone to follow Lu Qianxian, but found that Lin Mu-en was not with her. He asked around many times and finally found out where Lin Mu-en was. He actually went to the police academy to apply to resume his studies behind the Lin family's back. When Grandpa Lin learned about it, he clutched his chest and stumbled a few steps back. "That bastard. Doesn't he know that I'm against him going to the police academy? He's only willing to go against me." Grandpa Lin rushed to the academy and asked to see Lin Mu-en. But Lin Mu-en was already wearing his uniform and looked like a proper officer. He knew that Grandpa Lin would come, which was within his expectations. "Come home with me. As long as you come home with me, I won't regret making friends with you. You can play with whoever you want and do whatever you want as long as you leave the police academy." Lin Mu-en was unmoved and rejected the old man's request. "No, Grandpa. I'm not going back to the police academy to fight you. It's because I like being a police officer." "That's a hail of bullets," Grandpa Lin said hurriedly. "That's my choice too. In the end, you're still taking revenge on me." Grandpa Lin was upset. "No, I won't allow you to continue studying in the police academy. You're a descendant of the Lin family. You don't have to risk your life." "Grandpa, I must go to the police academy." "You can't stop me this time," Lin Mu-en said firmly. "I'll go to the principal and your director. If you think this will work, then go." Lin Mu-en was unmoved. Even if Grandpa Lin used all his power, he would never drop out of the academy because he didn't break any rules. It was obvious that Grandpa Lin was at a loss. Why did his obedient grandson suddenly become so disobedient? Grandpa Lin was so angry that he fainted in the study after returning home. This time the Lin family called Lin Mu-en again. But Lin Mu-en said to them, "Take good care of Grandpa. Pretend that you never gave birth to an unfilial descendant like me." He really didn't compromise because he wanted to become a useful person. Chapter 336. As expected, Lu Qianxian kept her word. No matter how busy she was, she would make time to visit Lin Mu-en at the police academy with a drumstick. Because the police academy was different from ordinary universities, The winter and summer holidays were very short, and the students also had to train on the weekends. Sometimes they could go out for a short while in the afternoon, but they were definitely not allowed to stay overnight. So this was a small chance for Lin Mu and to see Lu Xianxian. Lu Xianxian suddenly laughed when she saw Lin Mu and in his police uniform. "No, what's wrong?" Lin Mu and looked at himself curiously. "I'm just not used to seeing you so serious all of a sudden." Lu Xianxian covered her mouth and laughed. "But to be honest, it's much cooler than you in a suit." Of course. Lin Mu and still had that little bit of pride. "It's a pity that I came back at the wrong time. The police academy is about to start its holidays. I brought you a drumstick. The training must have been tough." It was more than just bitter. Lin Mu and pulled up his sleeves, revealing the bruises on his arms. "Although it's tough, I'm happy. Thank you for the drumstick. I'm going to eat. The food in the canteen isn't that good." As Lu Xianxian watched Lin Mu and eat the drumstick, she took out a small box and handed it to him. "What is this?" "Protective talisman," Lu Xianxian explained. "It's said that being a police officer is a life of bullets. So I wish you a long life." Lin Mu and smiled and accepted the small box. "Female, so you have to study hard too. Don't fall behind me. I'm smart and quick-witted, how can I lose to you? You are a scumbag." Both of them bickered as usual, but for Lin Mu and Lu Xianxian's visit made the physical pain he suffered in the police academy vanish without a trace. When he returned to the police academy, he lay on his bed and opened the gift Lu Xianxian had given him. Seeing that it was really a safety charm, he carefully hung it around his neck. "I will definitely grow up to be a friend that can protect you." On the other hand, Lu Xianxian could study harder because of Lin Mu An's encouragement. Everyone was improving and she couldn't always lick her own wounds. Over the last few days, Mu Qiqi had gone out to fields several times with her instructor, and returned home every day with different scents. Because it went deep into the hair, there was no way to prevent the smell. No matter how you washed, there would still be some residual smell. Old Xing had called to inform the entire Xing family to come home for dinner. In fact, he wanted to discuss a way to bring Xing Minglan home. However, it was inconvenient for Mu Qiqi to attend because the smell on her was unbearable. "Xiao, the old man can't wait for me not to go to the Xing family's dinner anyway. Let's just forget about it this time, lest he uses the smell on me to make a fuss again." Xiao hugged Mu Qiqi and hooked her chin. "There's no smell." "Why not? You're helping me because you're a fan. But the Xing family won't be polite to me." Xiao did not say anything. He just let go of Mu Qiqi and went to the study to make a call. Since Ji was not going, there was no need for him to go back. Moreover, he even informed Jing Yun, "Find the best perfumer in France. I want to meet him in a few days." He did not want the little one to hate him because of those things. Meanwhile, the Xing family was already seated around the dining table, although Xiao and Mu Qiqi's seats were empty. The old man glanced at them and asked Mama Xing, "What's going on?" "Eighth brother just called. He's going on a business trip, so he won't be coming tonight. Does he think nothing of me now that he's the CEO of Huang Yao? Even if he's not coming, where's Mu Qiqi?" Wasn't the old man asking a question he already knew the answer to? Wasn't it obvious that Mu Qiqi was coming to be humiliated when eighth brother was not coming? "Father, just tell me what you want." Mama Xing quickly changed the topic. "Seventh sister has been missing for some time and we couldn't find her. That's why fourth sister is the only girl left in our generation, but she's still out there and wouldn't come home. It was because seventh sister was here before. Now that she's gone, you should think of a way to bring her back. No daughter of the Xing family would want to live in the cage that was the Xing family. Fourth sister had already tasted freedom outside. Why would she come back?" "Father, you had promised fourth sister that you wouldn't interfere with her life. It's not good for you to go back on your word." He remembered how he had been fickle in front of Xiao before, and how he had lost his position as CEO of Huang Yao and 10% of the company's shares. If he were to provoke fourth brother now, he would probably lose even more. "She's a daughter of the Xing family in the end. I won't interfere with her marriage as long as she comes home." The old man's words were pleasant, but could he not object when he found out that Jing Yun and Xing Minglan were together? Naturally, no one in the Xing family knew about it. "Xiaoqin, I'll leave this to you. I want our family to be together." Mama Xing was helpless but nodded in the end. "I'll do my best. Of course, it would be better for Mama Xing to know than the old man, right? Mama Xing went to Xing Minglan's company early next morning so that she wouldn't waste her time and could see her before she went to work. But when she saw Xing Minglan's car parked in the garage and was about to get out, she saw Jing Yun getting out of the driver's seat first, before going around the car to drive for Xing Minglan. They were holding hands and their posture was very intimate. Mama Xing did a double take, suspecting that her eyes were playing tricks on her. That was why she quickly got out of the car and followed Jing Yun, only to find that they were kissing at the entrance of the company. Mama Xing promptly covered her mouth and quickly returned to her car. What was going on? Why was Jing Yun with fourth sister? With that question in mind, Mama Xing called Xianxia. However, Xianxia was in the bathroom and Mu Qiqi was the one who answered. What's the matter, mother? Xiaoxiao is washing up. Qiqi, tell me, do you know fourth sister's secret? Mama Xing asked straightforwardly. Mu Qiqi did a double take, her whole body stiffening. Mother, indeed you know about it too. This morning, I saw the two of them being very intimate in front of fourth sister's office. These two kids are way too brave. Don't they know what the consequences will be if the old man finds out? Mother, don't tell Grandpa, all right? Fourth sister is finally a little happy, but I would keep it a secret for the rest of my life if I could. But this is about marriage and children. Wouldn't your grandfather know? Mama Xing was really anxious. I saw the two of them come to the company together this morning. How far have they progressed? Stop. Mama Xing understood what Mu Qiqi meant. Chapter 337. Why aren't you doing anything? Mama Xing was beside herself. Even the rest of the Xing family wouldn't accept Jing Yun as the Xing family's son-in-law, let alone the old man. Just because Jing Yun has nothing? Xianxia, that won't work. You and Mu Qiqi could get engaged because she's the Shen family's granddaughter, but Jing Yun. Mom, do you not like Jing Yun too? Xianxia asked in return. Of course I like that child since he's been by your side for so many years. But your grandfather, you don't have to worry about anything if you like him. Xianxia promptly cut her short. Fourth sister had opened Jing Yun's heart after much difficulty, or that blockhead would have ended up with fourth sister long ago. Mama Xing could only sigh at that. How much more do you children have to make me worry before it's enough? That was precisely why Mu Qiqi and Xianxia believed that their mother would not tell the old man about it. How worrisome. If that's the case, tell Jing Yun to restrain himself and fourth sister. The old man might visit her company from time to time. If Jing Yun knew that Mama Xing had found out about their relationship, his heart that had just been opened would instantly close again. Mu Qiqi couldn't help sighing when Xianxia put down his phone. It's lucky that Mom found out first. The consequences would be unthinkable if it was Grandpa. Call fourth sister later and tell her about it in a roundabout way, so that she'll be careful of Jing Yun's emotions. Mu Qiqi nodded. Got it, Xiaoxiao. Still, this matter has to be resolved. Check his identity first. He had prepared for the worst since he did not expect that Jing Yun might be related to the Su family. Still, since this matter could minimize the damage, he certainly had to do both at the same time. Of course, he would only consider that if Jing Yun was really a member of the Su family and they really had the intention of finding their child. In the afternoon, Jing Yun received the background information on the Su family and handed it to Xianxia. Xianxia glanced at it and smiled in return. You haven't opened it yourself? No. Jing Yun calmly shook his head. Xianxia opened the envelope and took out the results of the investigation, and found that the Su family was not a bunch of mediocre people. The person in charge of the Su family was one of the top medical equipment suppliers in the country. He had been engaged in the development of medical equipment for many years and had made many contributions to the medical field. The Su couple had 2 sons and 1 daughter. Su Yihong was the eldest, Su Wei the second, and the youngest, Su Yifeng, who had been missing for many years. Xianxia flipped through the documents and looked at the photo of third brother left on the Su family tree. That was clearly how Jing Yun looked when he was young. Was there even a need to check? The Su family had only recently moved to Jianchuan to develop. Before this, they had been far away in the coastal cities. If the Su family had always been thousands of miles away, why would Jing Yun end up in Jianchuan? When he was done, he put all the documents on the table and asked, "What do you think? I can tell you with certainty that you are a member of the Su family." I don't know. Jing Yun paused for a moment, feeling very lost. I believe that the Su couple must be looking for you. After all, they had searched the city they used to live in for years, but to no avail. I was abandoned. Jingyun told Xianxia about his dream. Recently I've been having this dream a lot. In the dream I'm being brought thousands of miles away by a man and then abandoned. It's because that's the only way I can't go home. That's not hard to explain. Why the Su family couldn't find their own child despite having such a large family business. Perhaps someone deliberately gave them the wrong direction. If that's the case, we must first find out who that person is. With that, Xianxia turned his office chair and studied Jingyun from head to toe. I really didn't expect you to have such a background. Young master. Of course, acknowledging the Su family is another matter. We must first find the one who abandoned you and torture him. It was Jingyun's choice to return to the Su family and no one could interfere. Even so, it was time for the person who had tortured Jingyun for years to pay the price. Xianxia did not tell Mama Xing about the Su family, because they didn't know what had happened to them. That was why Mama Xing was worried. When she returned to the Xing family at night, she was inevitably questioned by the old man. What happened when you went to see fourth sister today? I didn't get to see her today, but I've told her secretary that I wanted to meet her. Mama Xing could still imagine the two young people's intimacy. Hurry. I know. Mama Xing replied. Fourth sister never cared about the Xing family in the past, let alone now that she was living with Jingyun. There was really no telling what clever move Xianxia could come up with. Xianxia wanted to investigate Jingyun's abandonment all those years ago, but he didn't know how many other people were involved. Doing his best not to alarm the Su family, Xianxia learned the reason behind the disappearance of the third son of the Su family. That year, Su Holdings had just experienced internal strife, with Papa Su and Jingyun's eldest uncle fighting for control of Su Holdings. At the time, the eldest uncle of the Su family even made a move on the children of the Su family to threaten Papa Su. To protect the children, Papa Su had his wife take the 3 children into hiding. Su Yihong had fled to the Su family's mansion on the island, leaving the 3 to return to the mansion the next day. But when Mama Su took a plane the next day, she found that her son who had been following her was gone. And the Su couple had searched for him for 10 years. Even so, there was no news of their youngest son. Come to think of it, the one who lost Jingyun was his mother. Mu Qiqi leaned on Xianxia and finished reading the information. But that clearly doesn't make sense. Jingyun said that someone had deliberately left him 1,000 miles away. Think about it. There are only a few possibilities at the time. First, the eldest uncle of the Su family abducted Papa Su's son so that he would lose his beloved son. Second, it has nothing to do with the eldest uncle of the Su family. But who could it be? Who would benefit from losing Jingyun? Xianxia hugged her at Mu Qiqi's analysis and smiled meaningfully. Whose cheese did Jingyun touch? Wouldn't the truth be revealed when he returns? Chapter 338. He's afraid that the Su family is just like the Xing family, scheming against each other, and afraid that he can't protect fourth sister. It's only natural that Jingyun would be afraid. If Mu Qiqi didn't love Xianxia so much that she couldn't live without him, why would she go to such a dangerous place like the Xing family? Still, I have the feeling that giving in won't reap good results. If Jingyun was really killed by someone, I would definitely find the culprit if I were him. Xianxia looked down at Xiaoqi and couldn't help chuckling. It's good that you know how to take revenge. Mu Qiqi couldn't help pushing him away when she saw him approaching. Don't get so close to me. I stink. Xianxia did not move away from her. Instead, he hugged her tightly in his arms. I don't despise you and you despise me? The French perfumer will come tomorrow, and I'll have her make a perfume specifically for your skin. Will it really work? Mu Qiqi asked. Definitely will. Mu Qiqi couldn't help reaching out to unbutton Xiao's shirt at his words. You're the person who treats me the best in this world. So, Mister, do you want to marry me? Mu Qiqi asked flirtatiously. Xiao said nothing else and simply grabbed Mu Qiqi's hand, flipping her over and pressing her beneath him. Since she was offering herself to him, he wouldn't hold back. Late at night in Xing Minglan's apartment, Jingyun knew everything about himself, but he didn't tell Xing Minglan a single word. It wasn't because he hadn't thought of how to handle it yet. He must find the culprit, but he wouldn't know who it was without contact with the Su family. Jingyun, you've been distracted all night. What's wrong? Jing Yun shook his head and continued watching TV with Xing Minglan in his arms. What would you do if I'm not me? What do you mean? Jing Yun didn't answer. Instead, he lifted Xing Minglan's chin and kissed her. It was a long time before he released her. Xing Minglan's face was flushed now. We don't seem to have any restraint these days. I won't disturb you if you want to rest tonight. Jing Yun said. That's not what I mean. Minglan, are you really willing to be with me for the rest of your life regardless of who I am? Even if I have nothing? Xing Minglan was sure that Jing Yun was behaving strangely. She turned to look at him. Aren't I doing that now? I love you as a person and the feelings you've shown me for so many years. They're not worldly possessions. I want to marry you. Having said that, Jing Yun picked Xing Minglan up from the sofa. How could a man not be affectionate when he had his lover in his arms? Blushing, Xing Minglan could only hug his neck tightly and enjoy his most tender kisses and caresses. It was also on this night that Jing Yun made a very important decision. On the other hand, Mama Xing had not made any progress with Xing Minglan, which annoyed the old man. He wanted Xing Minglan to come home, but he did not know how to appear before his granddaughter. All along he had asked someone to look for Xing Minglan's address, though he did not know how he could appear in front of his granddaughter. That was why he went to Xing Minglan's new company after running out of ideas. Of course he did not go there himself. So, having exhausted all his options, he went to Xing Minglan's new company to see if there was any news about seventh sister. But when he arrived at Xing Minglan's new company and revealed his identity, he was stopped by the secretary. I'm sorry, Chief Xing is not in the office right now. In fact, Xing Minglan was having lunch with Jing Yun near the office. Even during lunch break, Jing Yun did not let go of the chance to meet Xing Minglan. Helpless when he did not see her, sixth brother turned to leave Xing Minglan's office. But just as he stepped out of the door, he saw Jing Yun and Xing Minglan entering the office one after another. And when no one was paying attention, Xing Minglan tiptoed and kissed Jing Yun's cheek. Sixth brother was left dumbfounded. Not knowing what was going on, he quickly hid in a corner. It was only after Jing Yun left that he returned to Xing Minglan's office. Xing Minglan had already learned about sixth brother's visit from her secretary. But when she turned around and saw this person, her heart skipped a beat. Could he have seen everything just now? What are you doing here instead of working at Huang Yao? Fourth sister, I want to know if you've seen seventh sister. Or did she contact you on her own? No. Xing Minglan shook her head. You should know how much seventh sister hates me. Why would she come looking for me? If that's the case, you should go back to your work, fourth sister. Xing Minglan had wanted to ask sixth brother if he had seen anything he shouldn't have. But since sixth brother did not mention it, she would be exposing herself if she poked at him. In fact, sixth brother was not harboring any ill intentions. He simply believed that Jing Yun was not good enough for his fourth sister. That was why he went straight to Huang Yao after he left Xing Minglan's office, dragged Jing Yun to the balcony and interrogated him. What is your relationship with fourth sister? Jing Yun stared at sixth brother in shock, but soon regained his composure. Tell me, you toad. Are you still hoping to eat a swan? Let me tell you, I won't tell Grandpa about this for the time being, but you have to leave my fourth sister immediately. You have to know that being with her is harming her. If Grandpa finds out, he'll definitely beat her to death. I hope that sixth young master would keep his word and not tell the chairman about this. I won't say anything if you leave fourth sister. Otherwise, I'll have to let Grandpa handle this. I'll handle my own business. You know very well who you are, Jing Yun. You've been with eighth brother for so many years, but you're still an outsider and an orphan at that. You're just a servant and a dog of the Xing family. Jing Yun's gaze sharpened at the last word. Still, sixth brother did not think that he was wrong. Either way, you have to leave fourth sister now. I'll give you one day or I'll tell Grandpa tomorrow. Jing Yun said nothing as he watched sixth brother leave. Still, he should be more careful and not have too much intimate contact with Xing Minglan when they were outside. Now that sixth brother knew, and saw it by accident, there would be a huge uproar if he told the chairman, and the entire Xing family would be in a mess. Chapter 339. Jing Yun kept his cool and told Xianxia about it. Xianxia glared at him when he heard it. Don't you know how to restrain yourselves? My mom saw it too. Jing Yun's entire body stiffened at that. How could a first-time lover know how intimate they appeared in front of outsiders? After all, both he and Xing Minglan only had eyes for each other at the time. It's easy with my mom since she's on our side. But as for sixth brother, you know that he has a grudge against us because of what happened to seventh brother. Still, it's not difficult to pacify him for now. Still, you have to make plans for that. I'm going to meet the Su family, Jing Yun answered. Because he wanted to uncover the truth, he did not want to be left in the dark. More importantly, he wanted to return to his rightful place. At least he was not a dog of the Xing family in sixth brother's eyes. Xianxia was naturally unaware that sixth brother had said that to Jing Yun. He would not be sitting still if he did. Whatever the case may be, sixth brother was a ticking time bomb. Make the necessary arrangements since you're going to meet the Su family. Are you going to meet Su Yihong directly or the Su couple? Jing Yun stared at Xianxia but did not answer, because he was more inclined to meet the Su couple directly. Meanwhile, sixth brother paced around his room in irritation after he returned to the Xing family's residence. After all, he was now carrying a shocking secret. He really wanted to tell the old man and have him punish Jing Yun. How dare a toad lusting after a swan's flesh? He wanted the old man to beat Jing Yun up so that he would know his place. Still, if he brought the matter to light, the old man would definitely punish Xing Minglan as well. Although he was aware that seventh brother and fourth sister had a grudge, Mu Qiqi was the main culprit in the matter, which was why he did not blame fourth sister. Meanwhile, Mama Sheng's task was to keep an eye on sixth brother. She had received Xing Zhao's call and her worries were starting to come true. It was just that no one could connect the two of them now. Come to think of it, there were only a few places Xing Xiao and Mu Qiqi could go on a date, because Xing Xiao knew very well how vast Huang Yao's sphere of influence was. Now he could only stall for as long as he could. That night, Jing Yun went home to pack his things, pretending that he was going on a business trip. Xing Minglan could not help being puzzled at that. I didn't hear eighth brother was going anywhere. Are you going alone? Jing Yun stopped what he was doing and straightened to Xing Minglan. I'm going to find my identity. Xing Minglan was puzzled. Be more specific. Actually, I've already found my parents and found out my true identity. However, I haven't met them yet. There are a lot of mysteries in my heart that I want to solve. So, I plan to make a trip there. Xing Minglan suddenly understood why Jing Yun had been acting strangely lately. Why did you only tell me now? Xing said, Yun said, I say. I'll go with you. That way I'll be the first to know if anything happens to you. Otherwise I'll just be on tenterhooks. But sixth young master saw us today, and I'm afraid he wouldn't be able to stop himself from telling the chairman. That's why I'm entrusting you to him. You can stay in Jingting for a while so I won't have to worry. Jingyun, I said I'll go with you. Xing Minglan was insistent. I want to know why your family would abandon you. Jingyun was helpless but compromised. By the time we get back to Jianchuan, the news would have spread. It would come sooner or later, wouldn't it? Xing Minglan was not afraid at all. In fact, she was a little delighted. After all, she had long wanted to tell the world about Jing Yun's identity. She loved him and wanted to be with him, and no one could separate them. Sleep for a while. Since Su Holdings had not fully moved here, the Su couple often stayed in other cities. Xing Minglan nodded and held Jing Yun's hand tightly. No matter what happens, I will face it with you. I'm weak, but I'm not afraid of anything as long as I'm with you. Jing Yun called Xing Xiao and asked him to keep sixth brother in check for now, or at least not let it happen when he was not in Jianchuan. Deep down he was retreating. He did not want to bring Xing Minglan any pain. But now, this woman was holding his hand so firmly and staying by his side. If he retreated, he would not be a man anymore. After all, the two of them were already husband and wife. Regardless of what the future held, he would first work hard to resist the mountain that was old Xing. He would sacrifice everything for Xing Minglan, even his own life. Holding hands, the two of them sat in the airport lobby. This time he was really going to find the answers to his parentage. Jing Yun is getting braver. Mu Qiqi was relieved when she learned that they were leaving together. Although there's no telling when sixth brother, that ticking time bomb, would explode. Do you think Jing Yun is still afraid? He was not afraid. He would stand in front of Xing Minglan even if thousands of arrows pierced his heart. I hope Jing Yun's trip ends well. Even then, Mu Qiqi was not aware of what old Xing was up to in secret. She was worried about Jing Yun and Xing Minglan, but did not know that her own situation was the one that worried her the most. After all, Old Xing had gotten in touch with the Gu family as he wished, and had a preliminary conversation with them. As for whether his plan could come to fruition in March, it all depended on whether Miss Gu was willing to cooperate. On the other hand, sixth brother could not sit still for the entire day. Mama Xing had seen him walking past the old man's study many times, and it was easy to imagine how much the brat wanted to tell the old man about it. His sister was already guilty of the most heinous crime. Was he going to be the same as her? Sixth brother believed that he was keeping his word. After all, he had given Jing Yun one day to break up with Xing Minglan, and he could not break his promise before the day was up. Unexpectedly, when he called Jing Yun the next morning, he found that his phone was not in the service area, just like Xing Minglan. Could they have eloped because they knew that disaster was coming? Chapter 340. Sixth brother immediately wanted to go to the old man, but ran into Xianxia on his way to the old man's study. Xianxia was wearing a black handmade suit, his figure appearing tall and slender as he stood in the corridor of the Xing residence. Sixth brother, where are you going? Sixth brother glared at Xianxia and pointed at his nose, scolding him. You found yourself a good-for-nothing Mu Chichi. Why would you ruin fourth sister's life? I don't understand. What happened to fourth sister? Stop playing dumb. By the way, the project manager in Africa has resigned. Why don't you go over and replace him? Xianxia smiled. I was just about to talk to the old man about this. Why don't we go together? Tell me, where did Jing Yun go? Why isn't your phone in the service area? I asked him to go on a business trip. What about it? Xiao's expression was calm throughout. I told this toad to break up with fourth sister. In the end, he eloped with fourth sister. I'm going to tell grandfather about this. All right, you can go and tell old master. No one can stop you, but you have to think about what happened to seventh sister because she framed her. Xiao stared coldly at sixth brother. You can tell the old man about this and he could ask Jing Yun to leave and disappear from this world. But you should know how much fourth sister would hate you in the end. In the end, this is fourth sister's business. What does it have to do with you? Sixth brother looked at Xiao, especially at his eyes. They were long, narrow and deep, and there was no telling what he was plotting. It was unfathomable. Jing Yun is your assistant. He's just a dog of the Xing family. At least he has done something for the Xing family. What have you done for the Xing family? Xiao asked sixth brother in return. Every penny you spend now is thanks to Jing Yun. What right do you have to be so shameless and call him a dog? Is that so? So does he want something of a higher class, a loyal dog? Pack your things and go to Africa immediately. Otherwise I'll freeze your account. Xiao did not want to be entangled with sixth brother. After all, they were like fire and water because of what happened to seventh sister. Who are you to decide whether I stay or leave? Because I am the president of Huang Yao. With that, Xiao turned around and left. Speaking of which, didn't you also contribute to this? Also, you call Jing Yun a dog, but in my heart you're worse than a dog. I'll give you 2 hours to check in or you'll have to bear the consequences. Sixth brother was reluctant. Xiao was clearly doing that to stop the old man from learning about Jing Yun and fourth sister. A loyal dog wanted to marry the young lady of the Xing family? Most importantly, Jing Yun was Xiao's assistant, or sixth brother wouldn't bear such a grudge. Xiao did not go to Grandpa Xing's study. Instead, he went to his mother's room. When Mama Xing learned about it, she shook her head. This won't stop sixth brother. I don't want to stop him, Xiao replied. Let him cause trouble and anger the old man. It's just right. But what about Jing Yun and fourth sister? Did he really run out and hide? Eloped? Mom, Jing Yun went on a business trip. Fourth sister just followed him. But if the old man asks, how should I answer? Mama Xing was very worried. Just say that Jing Yun went on a business trip with fourth sister and nothing else. We'll talk about it when they come back. Even if sixth brother goes to the old man to make a fuss, the old man would have to believe him. You just have to pretend you don't know anything. But they would have to face. Xiao gestured for her to calm down. Meanwhile, Jing Yun and Xing Minglan had successfully checked into the hotel. To smoothly meet Su matriarch, Xing Minglan used her company's name to meet the Su couple. The Su couple were surprised when they received the invitation, since Xing Minglan's department store and the medical industry had no potential for collaboration. Why would she meet the old couple? Still, the couple agreed to meet at 6 in the evening. Xing Minglan looked down at Jingyun when she read the reply. Nervous? Jingyun shook his head. To convince them, I brought a picture of you when we were young. Jingyun reached out to hug Xing Minglan. Although he didn't say it, Xing Minglan could feel that he was nervous and his body was trembling. You'll see them tonight. Meanwhile, at the Xing residence, sixth brother was packing his things early in the morning, which caught the old man's attention. Where are you going? Africa. Sixth brother replied irritably. Can't help it. The CEO of Huangyao has a lot of influence. What can I do when he wants me to be in charge of a project in Africa? Since eighth brother sent you, just treat it as training. The old man glared at him. Aren't you curious, grandfather? Why would eighth brother send me to Africa? Do you think I don't know about your grudge? You hate eighth brother and Muchichi because of seventh sister. Sixth brother couldn't help laughing at that. Our Xing family is really inviting a wolf into our house. Grandpa, why don't you ask your eighth brother where his assistant went and where fourth sister went? Hearing this, Grandpa Xing couldn't help but frown. What do you mean? What I mean is, you might have a poor grandson-in-law. You mean, that's impossible. The old man didn't believe it. It had been so many years and it would have happened long ago if Jingyun and fourth sister really had something going on. They wouldn't have waited until now. I saw it with my own eyes. They kissed and even went on a business trip together. Aren't you worried at all, grandfather? Hearing this, the old man's body stiffened. It's best if you investigate this in private. They might have been living together a long time ago. Ask eighth brother. He can think of 1,000 ways to brush you off. The old man took a deep breath and waved at sixth brother. Hurry up and leave. Don't be an eyesore. Sixth brother snorted coldly. He wouldn't believe that eighth brother would have the ability to marry Jingyun into the Xing family. But did Jingyun need to marry into the Xing family? The old man was upset when he heard the news, and promptly sent someone to Xing Minglan's company to investigate. He found out that Xing Minglan and Jingyun were really close, having meals together and getting off work together almost every day. What else could it be if not a couple? In fact, Xianxia didn't stop the old man from investigating. Otherwise, he wouldn't have found anything if Xing Minglan's company explained everything. What could he do even if he knew now? The old man became more furious the more he thought about it. Unable to contact Jingyun and Xing Minglan, he called Xing Zhao's phone. Get your ass back here. Chapter 341. What do you mean, old man? Xing Zhao asked in return. So angry in the middle of the day. Where's Jingyun? On a business trip. What about fourth sister? How would I know where she is? Maybe she's on a business trip too. Xing Zhao answered cynically. Did you call me back just to ask about their whereabouts? Don't tell me you don't know about their relationship. I've already gone to fourth sister's company and found out that they're together. The old man stomped his walking stick. Xing Zhao, she's your sister. How could you let her be with your assistant? Don't you know how different their statuses are? Why are you getting mad at me? Do you have proof from the company? Jingyun has a good relationship with fourth sister because she saved him, and they've been living with innocence all these years. If they had feelings for each other, they would have done it a long time ago. Why wait until now? I don't want to tell you anything now. I just want to know where fourth sister is. When she comes back, I won't let her leave the Xing family, let alone be with those shady people. Xing Zhao and Mu Qiqi looked at each other but neither said a word. What could he do to them now that Jingyun and Xing Minglan were not in Jianchuan? I'm asking you, Xing Zhao. Where's fourth sister? The old man suddenly yelled at Xing Zhao. A daughter of the Xing family would never be the wife of an assistant. I won't let her slit her wrists. And that assistant of yours. He's such a cruel and ungrateful thing. Xing Zhao could not be bothered to listen to him and left with Mu Qiqi. And the old man hated Xing Zhao's unruly behavior the most. He had been like that since he was young. He did not care if Xing Zhao would be obedient. As long as Miss Gu came to the Xing family, Xing Zhao could marry her and have a son and a daughter, and he would have completed the mission given to him by his ancestors. I'll let you be arrogant now, but when the time comes, let's see if you can still laugh. On the way back, Mu Qiqi couldn't help worrying. What should we do, Xiao? Judging from the old man's attitude, he would never allow those two to be together. Jingyun will win. Xing Zhao caressed Mu Qiqi's hair to reassure her. Mu Qiqi trusted Xianxia and nodded in relief. Still, I can't help feeling a little nervous when I see Grandpa in a fit of rage. I wonder how things are on Jingyun's side. If he wasn't a member of the Su family, would you have exposed their relationship? It's only a matter of time before he's exposed. It has nothing to do with Jingyun being a member of the Su family. It's just that he has more leverage since he's a member of the Su family. If he's not a member of the Su family, how are we supposed to help them? Xianxia looked down at Mu Qiqi and could not help chuckling. Helping them escape. Ah, idiot. Xianxia cursed softly. There was no need to fight Grandpa Xing head-on. They could find a place where no one knew them, get married and have children. When the Xing family was reshuffled, would Grandpa Xing be able to stop them? Of course, this was the last resort. It was 6 o'clock in the evening. The Su couple had arrived at the hotel as promised and met Xing Minglan. Both husband and wife looked very cultured, noble and elegant. After all, they were also successful people. Still, they appeared puzzled when they saw Xing Minglan. Miss Xing, Su Holdings and Huang Yao don't have much of a partnership to work with. I wonder if you... Xing Minglan said nothing and simply took out the photo of her and Jingyun from her handbag and put it in front of them. Madame Su was skinny but very spirited, wearing a cheongsam and exuding the aura of a noble family. On the other hand, Papa Su looked like a scholar, wearing glasses and a suit, and appeared to be very particular. Both of them were stunned when they took the photo. That's our third brother? When I was young, I found a boy who was about to freeze to death in a world of ice and snow. That's why I brought him home and made him my brother's playmate. Both husband and wife looked at the photo with Madame Su crying out loud. My third brother. Husband, that's our son. But Miss Xing, to tell you the truth, we found our son 2 years ago and we did a DNA test. He's definitely our son. Papa Su said. Uncle, Auntie, you wouldn't mistake your son's appearance when he was young, would you? I think you two might have been fooled. Xing Minglan said. Well, where is this child now? Madame Su asked. He's outside Jingyun. Xing Minglan called out to the door of the private room. Jingyun pushed the door open and entered. When the old couple saw Jingyun, especially Madame Su, it was as if they were looking at their husband in his youth, and there was not much difference between them. Hence her eyes reddened at once. Child. My child. Mama Su promptly rose to her feet and walked to Jingyun, grabbing his arm and studying him from head to toe. She was even more certain when she saw the red birthmark beneath his earlobe. Old Su, that's our son. There's no mistaking it. But the one at home, that's easy, Uncle. You just need to do another DNA test in secret. You would definitely get the answer. Xing Minglan suggested. Papa Su nodded. In truth, he was more willing to believe that Jingyun was his son, because he looked so much like him when he was young. Why did you only come to us now, my child? Jingyun was unsure how to face his parents at once and simply answered them, I was abandoned on the streets of Jianchuan when I was young. I fell sick in the cold and snow. Minglan found me later and brought me back to the Xing family. I don't remember much about my childhood after that. I lost you at the airport. How did you end up in Jianchuan? Jingyun shook his head. I only remember that the person who abandoned me told me that I wouldn't be able to find my way home if I was 1,000 miles away. Who could be so cruel as to leave my son in the cold? Madame Su cried out. My child, this is my child. My poor child. Papa Su couldn't help tearing up as well. You don't know this, but your mother had searched every corner of the city just to find you. She had even asked around, but she didn't know that you were abandoned so far away. It's good that you're back. It's good that you're home. Jingyun looked at his parents, especially his kind parents, and could not help but be moved. I'm sorry. Chapter 342. Don't be sad now that we're reunited, Uncle Auntie. There would be many chances for us to share our feelings in the future. But the most important thing now is to find out what's going on with the impersonator. At Xing Minglan's reminder, Mama Su dried her tears and looked at her husband. Yihong was the one who found him. Su Yihong was Jingyun's eldest brother, and the Professor Mu Qiqi saw giving a speech at Xingting University. We'll have to ask Yihong when we get home. Auntie, I think you should quietly do the DNA test first. With the evidence in your hands, no matter who is lying to whom, at least you will know in your heart. Xing Minglan suggested. Papa Su found it reasonable at that. That's right. Whatever the reason, impersonating my son is a lie. Are we going to keep it a secret too? That would be best. It's a secret. Xing Minglan was a little more cautious, since Mama Su mentioned that Su Yihong was the one who found the impersonator. Where are you staying then? I want to see my son a few more times. You're not in a hurry to leave, are you? Mama Su quickly asked. We'll stay here until we get to the bottom of this. Xing Minglan dispelled Mama Su's concerns. Jing Yun wants to know who the culprit was who left him at Jianchuan. How dare they treat my son like this? I'll get justice for him. Papa Su was holding Jing Yun's hand tightly as well, apologizing profusely. It's all my fault. I lost you when we were fighting for the management rights, and I've blamed myself every day for all these years. I miss you every day. Jing Yun stared at his parents and eventually couldn't help holding them in his arms. I thought I was an orphan. Nonsense. You're not an orphan, you're the third young master of the Su family. I'll make it up to you. I'll give you the best in the world. Jing Yun's mood was very complicated. He never imagined that someone would impersonate him and deceive his parents. The Su couple stayed at the hotel until late at night, and would not have left if Xing Minglan hadn't reminded them. Don't show it before you get the DNA report. You wouldn't know how cunning the culprit is. Mama Su kept Xing Minglan's words in mind. On the way back, she had a discussion with her husband. I don't need a test to know that Jing Yun is our child. He looks so much like you in the past. Not only that, Miss Minglan also has a photo as proof. But when I think of our son wandering outside and suffering so much, my heart feels like it's being pricked by needles. Aren't I the same? Papa Su added. I knew that he was my son the moment I saw him because I could feel the bond of blood between father and son. Madam, fourth Mrs. Reminder is right. Don't let the scoundrel continue to get his way. We have to keep calm and not show anything when we get home. Don't worry, I'll make sure these swindlers die a horrible death. After the couple finished their discussion, they quickly returned home. When they saw the imposter sitting in the living room playing with her phone, they walked over to her as usual. Mama Su carefully studied the birthmark behind the imposter's ear, only to realize that it looked more like a tattoo than a natural birthmark. Mom, Dad, where have you been? Why are you back so late? To see an old friend. Mama Su replied. It's getting late. Go to bed. The imposter nodded, picked up her phone and returned to her room. Soon Su Yihong entered the house, exhausted. Dad, Mom. Yihong, how are the preparations for moving to Jianchuan coming along? Papa Su asked. Dad, the environment there really isn't as good as our home. Are you sure you want to move there? Of course. It's a sad place for us and I want to start a new life with your brother and sister. Didn't we agree on that when we found your brother? Su Yihong nodded. All right, the preparations are almost done and the place to stay is ready as well. Our family can move there anytime. That's good. The couple did not bat an eyelid at all. It was only when the brothers went to bed that they quietly took the imposter's toothbrush and sent it to the hospital's forensics department, paying a hefty fee to have it processed as soon as possible. Jing Yun's reunion with his parents went smoothly, but it also gave rise to more questions. For example, where did Su Yihong find the imposter? Did he do it on purpose or was he a victim too? Jing Yun had been abandoned before, and now an imposter had appeared in the Su family. They found it hard to believe that it was all a coincidence. That night, Jing Yun told Xianxia about what happened and Xianxia was intrigued. There's actually an imposter. Young master, what do you think about this? Be careful of your eldest brother. Xianxia simply watched. Moreover, the old man already knows about your relationship with fourth sister, and he's on the verge of losing his mind. When are you coming back? It would take around 3 days for the DNA report to come out. And here I thought it was just a simple reunion. I didn't expect there to be so many complications. Xianxia showed great interest in the matter. Someone is toying with you. How do you plan to retaliate, Jing Yun? As someone around Xianxia, he did not know what it meant to be taken advantage of. Especially when it was such a grudge. I'll make him wish he was dead. Mu Qiqi was lying on Xingzhao's chest, and her tired head was immediately refreshed when she heard their conversation. I didn't think that someone would really impersonate someone else's son. Of course, it's easy to fool everyone with a fake DNA report, especially when the Su couple misses their son so much. It's great that everything is going well for Jing Yun. Hurry up and do the DNA test, chase away the imposter and find out the truth. Do you want to join in the fun? Xianxia asked the little one in his arms, raising a brow. You're on vacation anyway and I could go around with you. You're afraid that there's a mastermind behind this and Jingyun might fall for it. Mu Qiqi immediately saw through him. Of course I'm fine. It's just that Grandpa might ask about your whereabouts. He doesn't care where I go. That's settled then. Mu Qiqi appeared a little excited. And you really are like a real brother to Jingyun Xiaoxiao. Chapter 343. While Jingyun and Xing Minglan could wait for 3 days elsewhere, old Xing could not. And now Xianxia had left Jianchuan with Mu Qiqi. What did that mean? Things between Jingyun and Xing Minglan were definitely not as simple as Xianxia made them out to be. Was there anything else that could be said for Xing Minglan and Jingyun leaving together? The old man was very angry. In fact, he was absolutely furious. But now that Xianxia was not in Jianchuan, the old man simply told Mama Xing when he had a meeting at the Xing residence that night. You gave birth to our son. It's your business to find him, but when Xianxia comes back, I hope that he will explain clearly what happened to fourth sister and that ingrate. As for fourth sister, I'll keep sending people to look for her. Mama Xing said nothing because she was angry too. I gave birth to our son, but I'm not the only one who should educate him, am I? Moreover, what happened between fourth sister and Jingyun is ultimately a personal affair between them. Why should my son have to explain himself? Father, you don't have to put on an accusatory attitude. You're basically saying that Xianxia harmed your granddaughter. The old man was naturally even more displeased at Mama Xing's words. Xiaoqin, have you been influenced by Mu Qiqi recently and forgotten who you are? You're the matriarch of the Xing family. You're in charge of the family and everything. Who else should I look for if not you when something happens to the Xing family? I'll relay your message when Xianxia comes back. Mama Xing was too lazy to argue with the old man. Whatever happened to the Xing family, it was someone else's fault. Isn't that it? The old man was furious and irritated. Xing Minglan had chosen a watchdog of the Xing family instead of anyone else. She was the young lady of the great Xing family. Jingyun? Who the hell was Jingyun? How dare he scheme against the Xing family? To prevent Jingyun from causing more damage to the Xing family, the old man promptly ordered everyone in Huangyao to suspend Jingyun from his duties. What a toad lusting after a swan's flesh. A fool's dream. On the other side, Xianxia had brought Mu Qiqi and Jingyun to meet up. Naturally, Jingyun also learned from Xianxia that the old man was furious. Xing Minglan was a little worried. When she was resting at night, she sat on the bed and looked at Jingyun. I want you to promise me that you won't leave me behind no matter what happens. You won't say that you want me to go back to the Xing family alone for my own good. Jingyun turned and stared at Xing Minglan solemnly, holding her slender right hand as he calmly replied, Since we're together, I naturally won't abandon you. This has nothing to do with whether or not I'm a member of the Su family. Even if I've always been an orphan since I've gotten you, I won't let go of you so easily no matter what. Xing Minglan only hugged him when she heard that. You promised me. You can't go back on your word. Come. Jingyun lifted the blanket and sat on the bed, holding Xing Minglan tightly in his arms. I mean what I say. After loving Xing Minglan for so many years, Jingyun had long since fused her into his flesh and blood. And since they were together now, he naturally wouldn't simply push Xing Minglan away. Moreover, Xianxia was there. Even if the entire world couldn't believe it, it wasn't as if there was no turning back as long as Xianxia was there. Seeing that Xing Minglan had fallen asleep, Jingyun whispered softly to her in the dark. I'm so useless, aren't I? I have to rely on young master for everything. The Su family. It wasn't calm right now. The DNA test results would be out tomorrow morning due to the urgent processing. Although there was no suspense in the Su couple's mind, they were still nervous when they really had to face the evidence. Old Su, if our son is confirmed to be an impostor, wouldn't Yihong be fooled too? Of course. Papa Su replied. Or would your eldest son deliberately lie to you? What's there to lie about? Why aren't you two asleep yet? Behind the screen, Su Yihong had just entered the house when he sensed that his parents were having a serious discussion. Oh, I'm asking your father when we can move to Jianchuan and he said that you've already done it. Mama Su quickly changed the topic and answered her eldest son. Su Yihong nodded and put down his briefcase. Are you in a hurry, Mom? I'm just thinking that since we have to leave sooner or later, We might as well use this chance to get there earlier. Well, I'll hurry the people down there to get ready. Okay. The Su couple shared a look, but neither of them told Su Yihong about it, because they remembered Xing Minglan's instructions that it would be best if they had the evidence before revealing it to their family. Well, I'm going upstairs to rest, Su Yihong told his parents. His parents nodded and naturally didn't continue the topic. Meanwhile, Su Yihong was still feeling uneasy when he went upstairs, and so knocked on his brother's door. Keep an eye on Mom and Dad over the next few days. I have the feeling that they're hiding something from us. The imposter nodded and scratched his head. Bro, what is it? Su Yihong turned and asked. Nothing. The imposter was actually suspecting that his toothbrush had been swapped out. Although the one he was using now was no different from the one he used before, he had the feeling that it was a little new. Of course, Mama Su had swapped it out in secret. Even so, he didn't dare to tell Su Yihong, afraid that he would accuse him of making a mountain out of a molehill. The next morning, Mr. and Mrs. Su left the Su residence with the excuse that they were visiting a friend, and met up with Jing Yun and Xing Minglan at the appraisal center. The results are out. The staff of the appraisal center handed the results to Papa Su. This is the urgent document you had to process. With the results, Papa Su deliberately opened it in front of everyone. Mama Su moved closer to read it too, and officially confirmed Jing Yun's identity. You really are my son. There's no mistake. You are our son. Both husband and wife promptly embraced Jing Yun. Jing Yun hugged his parents as well and led them away from the appraisal center. It was an expected outcome. Xing Minglan was pleased at that. Jing Yun, can you still say you're an orphan now? This isn't the place to talk. Let's talk somewhere else. The family returned to the hotel where Jing Yun was staying, and closed the door to their discussion. The results are out. The one in our house is definitely an imposter, but there are two questions now. First, how did the imposter contact Yihong? Second, how did the DNA test go unnoticed? Since Yihong was the one who did both, I can't help but be suspicious. Mama Su said to Papa Su. Chapter 344. We could call the police right away if Yihong was tricked too. Mama Su said. But, what if Yihong has something to do with it? Whatever the case may be, it's the greatest consolation that we have found our real son. Still, Jing Yun was very suspicious of his eldest brother, Su Yihong. After all, Xianxia had asked him to be wary of Su Yihong. Everything had been handled by him and he would definitely be involved in this matter. So why would he find an imposter? Well, Yifeng, come home with us. Mama Su told Jing Yun even as she wept. I want to make it up to you after all the years you've suffered outside. I want to find out why I was abandoned before. Jing Yun answered Mama Su. Our son is right. What if he hurts us again if we don't find the culprit? Papa Su answered Mama Su seriously as well. Whatever the case may be, we should deal with the imposter first and then talk to Yihong. I really don't know what Yihong is up to. He actually mistook his own brother for someone else. Jing Yun could see that the couple were calm and knew that they were thoughtful people. That was why he did not remind the couple or voice his doubts. Otherwise, Su Yihong would think that he was trying to sow discord between them. Well, I'll have to trouble my son to stay in the hotel for now. Fourth miss. Is Yifeng's girlfriend? Mama Su had a pair of sharp eyes and could see through their relationship at once. Blushing, Xing Minglan nodded. Mama Su held her hand and praised her profusely. A young lady from a great family is so elegant and noble. No wonder Yifeng likes you. Moreover, you're my son's benefactor. I really don't know how to thank you. You're being too serious, madam. Xing Minglan quickly held Mama Su's hand and comforted her. With the DNA certificate in hand, the Su couple's hearts were completely at ease. They wanted Jing Yun to return to his family as soon as possible, but Jing Yun felt that now was not the time. The couple chatted with Jing Yun for the entire day, and it was 10 o'clock in the evening when they finally left. That was when Xianxia came in with Mu Chichi from next door. Although your identity has been confirmed, you're still a stranger to the Su family, and it's not appropriate for you to interfere. Therefore, you can leave the matter of the imposter to your parents. What you need to do is investigate your eldest brother, Su Yihong. Jing Yun, this shouldn't be difficult for you. You have to understand him from the moment he was born until now. Young master, do you think that Su Yihong must be hiding a secret no one knows about? Xianxia told Jing Yun confidently. Jingyun trusted Xianxia. He had never made a mistake in judging people over the years, and this matter was so obvious. Before the impostor entered the Su family, he must have planned many detours to mislead the Su couple. From the looks of it, your parents should be meticulous people, so they should know better than to deliberately provoke your eldest brother. Jingyun nodded because he could sense that his parents were not impulsive people. Moreover, you must explain your and fourth sister's current stance and the predicament you're facing when you meet them next time. Otherwise, people could easily misunderstand that you're plotting something against Su Holdings when the Sheng family is oppressing you. I understand. Mu Qiqi promptly worshipped her man from the bottom of her heart at Xing Zhao's words. After all, Xing Xiao was truly meticulous. He could see problems that others couldn't and put an end to them. It was no wonder why he never lost in the business world. On the way back, Mama Su showed her concern. Old Su, why do I feel that there's something wrong with eldest brother? Before the impostor entered the family, we had tried to find third brother many times to get some clues, only to be cut off. Moreover, I've told you before that we're not looking in the right direction. Papa Su was silent for a long time at her words. I hope that our theory isn't true. Whatever happens, we have to trust eldest brother on the surface. I know what to do, Mom. Papa Su replied. When they reached home, Su Yihong and the impostor were having dinner. Mama Su gave Papa Su a look and the two promptly understood. It was only after they had dinner that Papa Su sat on the sofa in the living room and asked the impostor, Yifeng, call your brother down. I have something to say. All right. The impostor nodded and went upstairs to call Su Yihong as well. What is it, Dad? Papa Su didn't seem to have anything to say when they were having dinner in the dining room. I have something to ask you two brothers. How did you find Yifeng back then? Su Yihong's face fell. His entire body was breaking out in a faint sweat, his mind blanking. I found Yifeng's birthmark by accident in a restaurant. Su Yihong reminded himself to calm down, and answered Papa Su's question with composure. What about the DNA test? Did you do it yourself? Dad, what's going on today? Su Yihong had an idea, and was afraid that his parents had discovered something. I have a document here. Take a look. With that, Papa Su took out the document and put it in front of Su Yihong. This is the latest DNA test report. This person before us isn't my son or your brother. The matter was exposed, but the two of them were not flustered. Su Yihong and the impostor promptly knelt before them. Dad, I'm sorry. Why? Because I don't want to see Mother keep searching. We don't even know if third brother is dead or alive in the sea of people, and it's too hard to keep searching like that. Moreover, I'm afraid that Mother's paranoia would worsen, which is why I arranged for this child to be your son. Su Yihong confessed honestly. It's only bloodline if we find our own flesh and blood. It's all meaningless if it's not our own child. Papa Su told Su Yihong. Do you know how much this hurts your mother? Dad, it's all my fault. Su Yihong took all the blame on himself. That way, even if it was a lie, it was because of his filial piety. We found your real brother. Papa Su then told them. Since this child isn't ours, I'll let you go since you didn't mean to deceive us. Go wherever you want. Su Yihong felt as if he had suffered an even greater blow when he heard that. Chapter 345. Thank you, Uncle Su. I really didn't mean to lie to you, and thank you for your magnanimity. I really don't want your assets, I just want to help my brother. Saying all that now was meaningless. Papa Su did not trouble the man and simply let him go. To Su Yihong, however, he abruptly entered a level 1 state of alert. His younger brother was really lucky to find his way home from thousands of miles away. He was really lucky. Since you found him, Dad, let's hurry and bring third brother home. Papa Su gave Su Yihong a long look before answering. There's no hurry. We have to find out who abandoned my son in Jianchuan all those years ago. Did that mean that his younger brother couldn't remember what happened before? If that was the case, there was still a chance to turn things around. It's good. I can't let my brother suffer in vain all these years. But I want to see my brother. I want to apologize to him. My elder brother didn't give up looking for him. It was only because my mother's mental state was not good at that time that I had to do this. Your brother will understand. Papa Su said, rising to his feet. I know how to comfort your mother, so you don't have to explain anything to her. She wouldn't be upset if she remembers. I know. Well, I'm going upstairs to rest, Dad. Su Yihong slowly calmed down, his rationality slowly returning as well. Since his younger brother had appeared, he naturally had to meet him. Papa Su did not see anything in Su Yihong's eyes. After all, the impostor had appeared when his wife was in a daze, which was why it was understandable that Yihong would set up such a show to cure his mother's illness. "You're letting the impostor go just like that?" Mama Su asked Papa Su afterward. Papa Su explained everything to Mama Su, and only then dispelled her suspicions. "I can forgive Yihong if he really did it because of my illness. Moreover, the child didn't cause any trouble for the Su family after coming here, nor did he ask for money. Still, who was the one who abandoned Feng Er in Jianchuan? Could it be that your big brother really captured Feng Er to take revenge on you?" "I'll have to ask eldest brother about that," Papa Su said. "There's bound to be something." "Very well, let's have Yihong and Feng Er meet tomorrow. Let the two brothers properly nurture their relationship." The Su parents had let the impostor leave because Su Yihong had taken full responsibility for the consequences. Even so, Xianxia would not let go of such a good resource like the impostor. After the impostor left the Su residence and received his reward, he naturally had to return home. Moreover, the reason he had been so obedient in the Su residence before was because Su Yihong had been strict with him. Since he was already paid, he naturally didn't need to covet the Su family's assets. Otherwise, wouldn't he be left with nothing if Su Yihong exposed him? Xianxia ordered Jing Yun to capture them. Jing Yun naturally seized the opportunity. He had gotten hold of the man's information over the last 2 days, and now that he was dragging his luggage out so late at night, it meant that Papa Su was going to lay his cards on the table. What came next was naturally the interrogation. "Who are you?" The impostor couldn't help being shocked when he saw them after his blindfold was removed. "You're kidnapping me. Then do you know who you've been impersonating over the last 2 years? Xianxia asked in return. The impostor did a double take before coming to a realization. "You're the real young master of the Su family?" Xianxia shook his head and pointed at Jing Yun beside him. "That's the one. Still, tell me why you were captured to replace him 2 years ago. I'll double what Su Yihong paid you." The impostor was immediately moved. "Are you sure you wouldn't harm me? Why would we do anything to you if you're all fake?" Xianxia asked in return, sitting on the sofa. The impostor paused for a moment before nodding. "I'll admit that Su Yihong hired me to impersonate the third young master of the Su family. He had me tattoo a birthmark on my ear, and to help me deceive everyone he even forged a DNA test. Madame Su was sick at the time and missed her son, which was why Su Yihong hired me." "What else do you know?" Xianxia pressed. The impostor did a double take and thought carefully before answering them. Su Yihong didn't seem to want to know about his own brother, and had the intention of having me take his place in the long run. Moreover, he even took back all information about Mr. and Mrs. Su's search for their son. That makes sense to Mr. and Mrs. Su, since they wouldn't have to leave messages all over the streets now that they found their child. But Su Yihong is different. He knows that I'm fake. There's nothing unusual aside from that. Oh, and there's one more thing. Su Yihong's eldest uncle had come to him in private once. Since Mr. and Mrs. Su weren't around that day, Su Yihong thought that I'd gone out, but I didn't make a sound in my room. He only got rid of his suspicions when I climbed out the window and returned through the front door. The others had their own conclusions at that. You can leave, but I want to make sure that you and Su Yihong would have no contact. That's why we've recorded what you said just now. Brothers, I'm just asking for money. Now that both sides are paying me, I'm not a greedy person and know when to stop." The impostor was honest. "Don't worry. I'll leave the country right after I get the money, and I'll send you a confirmation message. If Su Yihong learns that you've leaked that to us, I'll find you at the ends of the earth." The impostor studied Xianxia closely, finding him increasingly familiar the more he looked at him before pointing at him. "You're Xianxia, the crown prince of Huangyao. At least you've got a good eye." As if discovering a new continent, the impostor's mouth gaped in shock, unable to say a word. Compared to Su Yihong, he was naturally more afraid of Xianxia. After all, the man was infamous. "Don't worry. I wouldn't dare to offend the crown prince even if I had 10 guts." Xianxia would naturally let the impostor go since it was useless to keep him around. Still, he would send someone to monitor him at all times. It appeared that all the answers lay with Su Yihong, while Jing Yun was still investigating everything about Su Yihong. How much longer? Xianxia asked. Around 2 days. Jing Yun replied. Young master, I'm guessing that Su Yihong can't sit still. You would definitely want to meet me. Then meet him. It might even stimulate your memory and remind you of something. In Xing Zhao's mind, he had already convicted Su Yihong. Chapter 346. With Xing Zhao and the others leaving Jianchuan, the Sheng family certainly felt uneasy, especially the old man and Mama Sheng. Xing Zhao did not tell Mama Sheng about Jing Yun's parentage, nor did he explain why he brought Mu Qiqi away from Jianchuan. That way Mama Sheng had no right to speak before the old man, because she had no confidence at all. How angry was the old man? Everyone in the Xing family could see it. The names Jing Yun and Mu Qiqi were like poison to the old man, and no one dared to touch them. He hated them so much, hating them for turning the Xing family upside down and leaving no one in peace. In the study, the old man was still fuming, but Mama Xing came up to him to comfort him. Father, Xing Xiao would definitely give you an explanation. He kept it from you. How dare you tell me that he would give me an explanation? Grandpa Xing asked Mama Xing in return. Eighth brother wasn't like this before. He wasn't like this at all. Ever since he got together with Mu Qiqi, he kept challenging my authority and my bottom line. Does Mu Qiqi have such a big impact on him? Mama Xing's lips moved, but she said nothing. How could I hold myself back until they get married? Father, even if you don't care about anything else, shouldn't you care about the Shen family? In the end, the Shen family is a family of generals. Huang Yao is already on the verge of collapse. Why would I care about the Shen family? The old man sneered. Xiaoqin, I'll make it clear to you today. As long as I'm alive, Mu Qiqi would never marry into the Xing family. It's not just in life. Even in death, I would never allow Xing Xiao to be with Mu Qiqi in my will, or I wouldn't rest in peace. Mama Sheng's heart turned cold at those words. She was worried and indignant. Why was it always Mu Qiqi's fault in the end? Fourth sister and Jing Yun are in love. What does that have to do with Mu Qiqi? And Xing Xiao, forgive me for being blunt, but he would still be like that even if Mu Qiqi didn't show up. He never obeyed you, and it's not something that only happens when Mu Qiqi shows up. Why is Mu Qiqi the scapegoat in the end? Dad, are you being fair? The old man flicked his sleeves and snorted. There's no such thing as fairness or unfairness. You can refuse to acknowledge Qiqi, but you will never get eighth brother's obedience. Do you really think that eighth brother cares about Huang Yao and your family business? He can leave Huang Yao with nothing, but you know very well that he has the ability to make a comeback and build a career more glorious than Huang Yao. Is he threatened by you? Don't lie to yourself anymore. After that, Mama Xing turned around. I don't want to be in this family anymore. Dad, you can find someone else. You. Mama Xing did not say anything else and walked out of Grandpa Xing's study. Communicating with extreme people would only intensify the conflict in the end. There would be no other results. On the other hand, Xing Xiao guessed that the old man's patience was at its limit, so he gave Mama Xing a call. Where did you go? Don't you know that Grandpa Xing has been furious at the Xing family for days because he thought that all of you had eloped together? Mom, we've been investigating Jing Yun's background, and it's proven that he is the third young master of Su Holdings. Are you talking about that medical group? Mama Xing had heard about it too. Yes. Does that mean Jing Yun is a descendant of a rich family? Mama Xing asked in return, quickly catching the gist of Xing Zhao's words. Interesting, isn't it? Of course it is. Do you know what your grandfather called Jing Yun? A dog of the Xing family. With that, the old man's face would probably be slapped swollen again. How much longer do you need? Around 2 days. Alright, I'll hold it off for 2 days. Come back as soon as you can. After all, Jing Yun had been with the Xing family for so many years. He had worked hard even if not meritorious, but in the end, who in the Xing family would remember his kindness? Everyone treated his efforts as a matter of course. Even so, Jing Yun should be repaying fourth sister. What does that have to do with the rest of the Xing family? He had worked with the Xing family since he was young, and it was the Xing family who gave him opportunities. Even so, he had proven his ability with his achievements. But what did the old man think of him? A dog? If Jing Yun really was a dog, he would be better than those lazy worms in the Xing family. Thanks, Mom. By the way, did you know that your grandfather has blamed your rebellion and Jing Yun and fourth sister's problems on Mu Qiqi? Xing Xiao did not say anything, but the light in his eyes was unusually sharp. The old man will not be able to stand it soon, and he will come up with new tricks. I wonder what he will come up with this time. Eighth brother, what I mean is leave the Xing family and marry into the Shen family. I won't stop you no matter what, as long as you don't have to stay with the Xing family and this place where you can't even breathe. I'm prepared, Mom. Don't worry. Xianxia replied. It's just that you have to suffer. I've lived for most of my life. What do I have to suffer? It's not like I can't live without the Xing family, so I won't talk to you anymore. Finish your business and come back as soon as possible. Xianxia hung up and turned to Muqiqi. Did you hear that? Your mother-in-law is asking me to marry into the Shen family. Huh? Muqiqi did a double take. Are you willing? The Shen family would welcome you 10,000 times over if you are. Little one. Xianxia pinched Muqiqi's nose before burying himself in his work. Of course, Xianxia was aware that the old man had suspended Jingyun from his duties as well. The next day, Mr. and Mrs. Su brought Su Yihong to the hotel, which counted as a formal greeting between Jingyun and the so-called eldest brother. Xianxia did not show up and stayed with Muqiqi in the room. Xing Minglan stayed beside Jingyun, and the family ate in a luxurious dining room. Su Yihong sat beside Papa Su, studying his younger brother diagonally across from him. To think that the inconspicuous young man was actually his younger brother. He was nothing like the impostor before, and appeared so calm and composed without the vigor that a young man of his age should have. Ifing about the impostor, it was my fault. I didn't consider your feelings and I apologize. Your brother did it because of my illness. Mama Su quickly explained in Su Yihong's stead. I didn't take it to heart. Jingyun replied. Well, how have you been living out there all these years? Then, how have you been out there all these years? Jingyun knew very well that it was a ploy. Even so, he answered honestly, the Xing family saved me and I'm living well there. Chapter 347. Then have you remembered who you are and are looking for us? Not long ago, the young madam of the Xing family saw you giving a speech at Xingting University in Jianchuan. She thought that we look alike, which is why she helped me search for my identity. Jingyun answered honestly. I see. Su Yihong nodded. Now that you're back, you should spend more time by Mom and Dad's side. They've missed you for years, and since we're moving to Jianchuan soon, you could move back home. Mama Su looked at Jingyun expectantly. Feng will you? I still need some time to get used to it. Jingyun answered sincerely again. Feng has just met his family. It'll be fine if you spend more time with them. Papa Su said cheerfully. That's true. I'm not doing my duty as a brother to take care of my younger brother, and I'll make it up to you twice as much. Is this young lady your girlfriend? After looking at Jingyun, Su Yihong turned to Xing Minglan. She's the fourth daughter of the Xing family and your brother's girlfriend. Mama Su answered on his behalf. Even so, there was something else in Su Yihong's eyes at that. Naturally, Jingyun was looking straight at Su Yihong as well. Both brothers had their own thoughts, and neither could tell what the other was planning. Halfway through the meal, Su Yihong received a call. It appeared to be an emergency, and he rose to his feet to tell his parents, Dad, Mom, the lab has exploded. I have to go back and take a look. Hurry. Papa Su quickly said. Well, we'll meet in private, brother. Jingyun nodded and watched as Su Yihong left. Still, he did not think that Su Yihong had left because of some accident, and that the call was merely an excuse to leave. Your brother is so busy. Mama Su smiled and began to serve Jingyun some food. The Jingyun called out unnaturally, unbeknownst to Mama Su how moved she was. Hey, go ahead. There's something I'd like to tell you in advance. Minglan and I didn't get the support of her family, but that's not why I'm here looking for my parents. It's just too much of a coincidence to discover your existence, and I'm afraid you'll misunderstand. Jingyun explained. Silly child, there's no misunderstanding. You're the third young master of the Su family. You're our precious son. Everything in the Su family belongs to you and your children. If you say that, Mom and Dad will feel even more guilty. That's right, Feng. You're our son, but you're actually restricted even when you're in a relationship. As a father, how uncomfortable is that? Thank you for your understanding. You're really too polite. Jingyun had explained the issue beforehand so that Su Yihong would not have a chance to take advantage of it. Of course, Su Yihong had left the banquet not because of the explosion, but because he had sent someone to investigate how Jing Yun had been living in the Xing family over the years. Feng, just go to the Xing family and take care of your affairs. Tell me if you need anything, and when we get to Jianchuan, we'll directly announce your identity and bring you back to the Su family. Moreover, we could give the Xing family some compensation to thank them for their years of nurturing you. That was the most appropriate attitude parents should have towards their children. Jing Yun replied to his parents at that. I can repay the Xing family myself. Old Xing now saw him as a thorn in his side, and anyone who saw him would probably want to chop him into minced meat. Would he still dare to face the old man under such circumstances? Of course. He would bravely appear before the old man for Xing Minglan's sake. Xianxia was right next door. Naturally, he was not interested in the family's conversation. Still, he was curious about the relationship between Su Yihong and his eldest uncle. The impostor had said that the two had met in private. If that was the case, they must be connected to each other to some extent. Meanwhile, Su Yihong had certainly found a perfect excuse to leave the hotel, because he felt uncomfortable even looking at Jing Yun for a second longer. Soon he had someone investigate everything about Jing Yun in the Xing family. After all, Jing Yun was now hated by the old man, and it would be much easier for him to be investigated. That was why Su Yihong easily understood why Jing Yun was in a hurry to return to the Su family. When the Su couple returned home that night, they found Su Yihong waiting in the living room and went up to him. You have something to say to us? Dad, Mom, there's something I don't know if I should say. Su Yihong pretended to be troubled. Tell me. It's about your brother. A woman's intuition had always been accurate. I know you're happy to have found Yifeng, and I'm thrilled as your eldest brother. Still, I've investigated Yifeng for your safety, and found out that he has been working as an assistant to the Crown Prince of Huangyao over the years. The Xing family seems to be looking for him, thinking that he has eloped with the young lady of the Xing family. Don't blame me for being paranoid, Mom and Dad, I just think it's too much of a coincidence, isn't it? What are you trying to say? Papa Su's face darkened at once. Is he trying to use the Su family to help him marry fourth sister? Dad, I know it's only right since he's a member of the Su family. But I really can't feel at ease if he really came home with ulterior motives. What do you think, Mom? Mama Su looked at Su Yihong as a stranger at those words. Yihong, are you hoping that your brother won't come home? Mom, I'm just afraid that you'll be fooled again. But the DNA test results are out. It's your brother, and he looks exactly like your father when he was young. He's a member of the Su family in every sense of the word. Mama Su told Su Yihong seriously. Your brother has suffered and been tired for so many years, and yet you, as his elder brother, did not help him find the culprit who abandoned him, and even accuse him of having ulterior motives? He's already explained it to us if you're worried about that. With that, Mama Su returned to her room. I'm tired. I want to rest. Su Yihong felt a chill inside. He did not expect Jing Yun to be so vigilant. He had already explained the matter to his parents, and yet he still tried to sow discord. It served him right to be scolded by his mother. It seems that he really should not underestimate Jing Yun. So he could sit still right now. But he would never expect that Xianxia would be peeling his skin off behind his back. Chapter 348. But what about his motive? Was he simply afraid that his brother would steal what belonged to him? That reason was so thin that it was not enough for him to take such a risk. Soon Jing Yun's men had some idea as well. Su Yihong's first half of his life had been too outstanding and ordinary, and he had never stirred up a storm for Jing Yun. It was as if everything about him was under Jing Yun's control. The only suspicious point was the relationship between Su Yihong and his eldest uncle. Young master, what do you think about this? Since we can't find the answer by following it, let's think in reverse and make a few hypotheses. Xianxia said to Jing Yun as he sipped his coffee. Let's say that there was a deal between your eldest brother and your eldest uncle. That means that you were abandoned by one of them. When your mother brought you to the airport where all kinds of people are mixed up, one of them took you away when your mother wasn't paying attention and sent you to Jianchuan to be abandoned. If that's the case, the fault lies with your mother. At the time, your father was fully on his guard against your eldest uncle, which was why the chances of him doing anything were minuscule. In other words, your father and your eldest uncle were fighting for control, And if your eldest uncle really wanted to do something like that, he would have captured you and your mother to threaten your father instead of sending you away. Moreover, your eldest brother had gone to the Su family's mansion on the island the day before it happened. Who would have the chance now? Jing Yun's eyes became very deep at Xing Zhao's analysis. The answer lies with your eldest brother. Is he really afraid that you would share everything with the Su family, or is there another reason? Still, since you have returned to the Su family, it is only a matter of time before he makes his next move. Xianxia raised a brow. He would interfere with your parents' search for the culprit many years ago, and as long as you remain clear-headed, the truth would come to light sooner or later. I understand. It's fortunate that your parents are wise enough. With that being the case, we can return home. Xianxia smiled. Have the Su family move to Jianchuan as soon as possible. That way you could have your men continue searching for clues here, and Jianchuan is our world. Your eldest brother would have to ask me if he really wants to do anything to you again. Xing Minglan listened to Xing Zhao's analysis and couldn't help praising Xing Xiao. We're all from the Xing family. Why are you so smart with that brain of yours? You ask me? Who should I ask? Xing Xiao smiled playfully. It's going to be another bloodbath if we return to the Xing family now. Who told you to like him? Xing Xiao asked in return, pointing at Jing Yun with his chin. It couldn't be helped. Jing Yun intended to bring Xing Minglan to Old Xing and lay all his cards on the table. Of course, he did not intend to use his parents' name to beg for the old man's forgiveness. After all, what if he was not lucky enough to reunite with his parents? No matter what the consequences were, he could bear it even if the old man said or did something ugly. Xing Minglan could guess what Jing Yun was thinking and so tightened her grip on his hand. Sometimes I don't know if you're a stickler for the rules or stubborn. Either way, the chairman would find out sooner or later. Let him accumulate some embarrassment first, and it would be much easier for old Master Xing to agree to the marriage later. That was Jing Yun's little plan, and he told no one about it. Seeing that the two were on high alert, Mu Qiqi smiled, leaning over Xing Zhao's body. I wonder what a good show the Xing family would have tonight. Meanwhile, Mr. and Mrs. Su had boarded the plane earlier than Xing Xiao and the others so that they wouldn't miss their visit to the Xing family. Why don't you guess? Xing Xiao pinched the tip of Mu Qiqi's nose. Chapter 349. Once the quartet's flight reached Jianchuan, Old Xing's men at the airport went up to Xing Minglan and caught her. I'm sorry, fourth sister. Xing Minglan stared at Jing Yun in shock. Jing Yun wasn't any better. 2 security guards came up to him and held him down, ready to bring both of them back to Xing Mansion. Xing Xiao and Mu Qiqi were right behind them, but Xing Xiao did not interfere. It's obvious how angry the old man is. Will Jing Yun be fine? Will the old man eat him? With that, Xing Xiao led Mu Qiqi to the airport parking lot and drove his sports car back to Xing Mansion. When the old man learned that they were caught at the airport, he had the entire Xing family return home early to see how this family scandal would be dealt with. Soon the two were brought back to Xing Mansion. Almost everyone in the Xing family was there, including Mama Xing, who had just returned from Huangyao without delay. After all, it was a matter of 2 children. The old man was sitting at the main seat in the living room. He promptly closed his eyes and took a deep breath when he saw Xing Minglan and Xing Xiao being brought into the living room, as if trying hard to control himself. You still remember to come back? The old man said meaningfully before opening his eyes to look at them. Come here, fourth sister. Xing Minglan looked at the old man and then at Jing Yun. Her heart was filled with fear, but she had promised Jing Yun that she would never surrender to the old man. That was why even if she hesitated for a moment, she still slowly approached the old man. The old man cocked his head and rose to look at her. But before he could say anything, a slap flew towards her. That was when Jing Yun stepped forward and the old man's slap landed on his head, startling Xing Minglan and every other member of the Xing family. Jing Yun, I'm fine. Jing Yun's ears were ringing from the force of the slap, and one could imagine how much strength the old man had used. You're just a watchdog of the Xing family. What right do you have to take a slap for the young lady of the Xing family? Grandfather. Xing Minglan quickly stepped in front of the old man. Get out of my way. Grandpa Xing pushed her away. I don't have a shameless granddaughter like you. What's the difference between you and seventh sister? It's just that they're all willful and impulsive. Jingyun did not retort at all. He simply reached out to hold Xing Minglan because she almost fell because of Grandpa Xing's strength. It's me who likes Miss Minoru. This has nothing to do with her. Chairman, if you want to cause trouble, come at me. The old man's face and ears were red. It was obvious that he was furious to the extreme, which was why he paced around the living room. Jingyun, tell me, how ungrateful can you be? The Xing family took you in, raised you and groomed you. Is this how you repay me? Who are you? Don't you know what's going on? I'll tell you clearly today that the women of the Xing family will only marry rich men. They would never marry someone like you. Even if you can't bear to part with each other, even if you already have a child, you must abort it. I will never let any random person enter the Xing family's territory. Jingyun, do you know how disgusting you are? What has the Xing family not treated you well? Why would you bite the hand that fed you? Jingyun said nothing. He simply endured it in silence. Xing Minglan could not listen to it anymore. She walked up to Jingyun and told the old man, "You're just my grandfather. What right do you have to interfere with my life? I can be with whoever I want. What right do you have to interfere? Because I'm your grandfather. Because I raised you. If I wasn't born into the Xing family, do you think I would want to stay in this hell? Are you satisfied if everyone lives like they're in prison?" Xing Minglan questioned the old man loudly. "Do you think I care about you raising me? I just didn't have a choice." Xing Minglan. You look down on Muqiqi and Jingyun. Do you know that you're the one we all look down on the most? Grandfather, you interfere with our children's freedom and arrange our marriages. Do you know that the Xing family has suffered so many tragedies because of a dictator like you? I'll kill you. The old man was utterly infuriated. He walked up and tried to hit Xing Minglan with his crutch, but Jingyun caught him. Chairman. The old man glared at Jingyun with bloodshot eyes, and then at Xing Minglan who was behind him. Finally he put down his crutch. No matter how much you hate me, I'm your grandfather. That will never change. And since I'm your grandfather, I won't allow you to mess around outside. From today onward, stay at home and never leave. I'll send someone to watch over you and follow you until you marry someone I'm satisfied with. As for him, what do you want to do to him? Xing Zhao's voice reached everyone's ears from the door. The old man turned to look at Xing Xiao and promptly swung his crutch at him. Xing Xiao dodged it and sat down with Muqiqi. Did I miss a good show? You can't protect your dog even if you come back. The old man snorted coldly. Why do I feel that this dog of mine is much better than your good-for-nothing dog? Xing Xiao retorted. You can look down on Jingyun, but he doesn't owe you anything. You know very well how much Jingyun has done for Huang Yao over the years, and you're just bullying him because he's not good with words. Eighth brother, why are you still meddling in fourth sister's affairs when you've found yourself a bride? Second uncle was naturally displeased with Xing Zhao's actions. She was his daughter after all, and although he had neither the right nor the right to control her, she was his daughter after all. I don't want to, but can you, second uncle? Xing Zhao's retort left second uncle speechless. That's why you're more guilty than those two, the old man said, pointing at Xing Xiao. Xing Xiao was not annoyed and simply held his little one's hand, looking as if he was never afraid of anyone. So, what do you plan to do with those two? I'll find another suitable candidate and marry your fourth sister to him. And then this person. The old man pointed at Jingyun, his words as humiliating as he could. I'll make sure he has no place in Jianchuan. How dare he seduce the granddaughter of the Xing family? I'll make sure he dies a horrible death. He won't have no place to stay. He could stay in Jingting however he wants. Xing Xiao quickly answered with a smile. That's why your threats are meaningless. Chapter 350. Jingyun did not speak for a long time. But at that moment he finally spoke with a very sincere tone. Chairman, Miss Minglan and I are in love with each other. I know that you feel humiliated by my identity and status. What we have done is very hurtful to you. But Minglan is an independent person with a complete personality. Even if you could lock her up for a while, you can't lock her up forever. As for me, you look down on me now because I have nothing. I have nothing to say, but I can't be poor for the rest of my life. I can do many things for Minglan, including building a new business empire for her. You. The old man couldn't help sneering. You dare boast like that with your background? I have no background, but chairman, the ancestors of Huang Yao had built this empire bit by bit. Moreover, you should know very well how capable I am after so many years. I really can. A beggar is a beggar. So what if you are capable? There are millions of capable people in this world. Do you think I would agree to every one of them marrying Minglan? The old man sneered. You're right. I do look down on you, but it's not just because you have nothing and no background, but also because you're an ingrate and a traitor. How could the Xing family tolerate a stain like you? Chairman, that's enough. Don't even think about saying sweet nothings to me. I will never agree to you being with fourth sister. Today you stood here and took a slap for fourth sister. You didn't act like a coward and didn't dare to admit what you did. I respect that you have some backbone. However, if you come into contact with Minglan again, I will definitely cripple you. Tisk tisk. Xianxia clicked his tongue before laughing at the old man. Don't be so hasty. What if you missed out on a golden bachelor? Eighth brother, I'm going to punish Jingyun even if you're here today. Do whatever you want as long as you don't regret it. Xianxia mocked. I don't believe you could eat him. I can't eat him, but I can dismember his limbs. He's just a stray dog. Everyone was stunned at those words. While the Xing family had always been insufferably arrogant, they had never humiliated and trampled on others like this. Furthermore, it was harming someone else's body. This was retribution. Xing Minglan looked worriedly at Jingyun, who blinked and reassured her. Xing Minglan covered her face and sobbed in a corner. She really hated the Xing family and Grandpa Xing's control. If you dare touch Jingyun, just wait for my corpse tomorrow. Xing Minglan threatened the old man. I won't let him go even if you threaten me this time. Jingyun, you go first. Xianxia no longer had the patience to continue arguing with the old man and so told Jingyun, I promise you that the old man will send fourth sister to you in no time at all, begging you to stay with the Xing family. Jingyun looked at Xianxia and then at Xing Minglan. Xing Minglan also wanted him to leave. Go first. I promise you that I will take care of myself. But I want to take you away. Jingyun. Xianxiao's hint was clear. Jingyun must leave now. Arguing with the old man would only worsen the conflict. One could imagine that Jingyun would never get past the old man if he wasn't a member of the Su family. It was Xianxiao's last test for the old man, and he no longer held any hope in the old man when he saw how the old man was behaving. Don't even think about leaving. Go. Xianxia shouted at once. Could the old man do anything to Xianxia? No. Anyone who stops Jingyun today will go home and eat themselves. If you're afraid of being fired by the old man and won't listen to my orders, just wait for my retribution. I believe it would be carved into your bones. Xianxia was threatening the security guards and servants. At this moment the servants were in a dilemma. The others did not even dare to breathe too loudly and the atmosphere was tense and stiff. In the end, Jingyun looked at Xing Minglan and said, Wait for me. He understood then that authority and status were so important. If he didn't have a trump card, he wouldn't have been able to take Xing Minglan away even if he died here. All of them knew how disgusting old Xing could be. Mama Xing couldn't help sneering at the sight. To think that there's such a grandfather in this world. What a surprise. I'll definitely wait for you. Xing Minglan told Jingyun. Then Jingyun bowed 3 times at the old man before leaving the living room. The old man couldn't do anything to him because Xianxia was protecting him with everything he had. That's how you pushed your fourth sister into a pit of fire. That's how you are, a traitor. Don't think that I can't do anything to him if he walks out the door. Of course you can trouble him in private, but I'm sure you won't be able to soon because you're so snobbish. Just as Xianxia finished, the butler rushed in from outside and told the old man, Master, it's a visiting card from Su Holdings. The couple said that they're here to thank you. The old man took the card and saw that it was from a major family and asked the butler, Where are they? Outside. Please come in. Su Holdings and Su Holdings had seen Jingyun being brought to the Xing residence, but had stayed outside the door all along and did not enter. When they saw Jingyun walk out of the house, they knew that their son had been wronged. Of course, they didn't go up to comfort him since everyone had their pride. They could all see how much Jingyun blamed himself for it. He felt useless, incapable, and had nothing at all. He couldn't snatch Xing Minglan from the old man's hands. Be that as it may, Xianxia was the only one in the Xing family who wasn't suppressed by this old man. Who could win against him? Heartbroken, the Su couple hurried to the old man's door to demand justice for their son. Old Xing simply didn't know why the Su couple would come to thank him. What was there to thank? While the Xing family was still around, he told them to change their expressions and treat their guests better. Soon, the Su couple entered the living room and greeted the old man politely. You must be old Mr. Xing. I've heard so much about you. Old Xing reined in his rage and became courteous towards them. After all, he had heard of Su Holdings' reputation as well. May I know what urgent matter brings you to my humble abode? Chapter 351. May I know who you are referring to, Jing Yun? Mama Su answered the old man with a smile. He is my third son, Su Yifeng, a long-lost child of the Su family. The Xing family was left stunned at that. Everyone's eyes widened. How was that possible? It was impossible. Thank you for your years of nurturing me, old Mr. Xing. Papa Su said, offering the gift. I don't know what you like, which is why I've brought this precious item as a token of my appreciation. The butler took the gift and handed it to the old man, who was left stunned when he saw it. It was a national treasure, and the Su family was giving it to him just like that. Moreover, he did not expect that Jing Yun was the third son of the Su family, and a descendant of a noble family. Even so, the scene of him humiliating Jing Yun had just played out here, and now Jing Yun's parents were here. How ironic. Everyone in the Xing family was stunned, save for those who knew about it. The old man could only feel a sense of humiliation and indignation filling his entire body. He never thought that Jing Yun had such a background, and yet he, thank you, you too. Actually, Jing Yun is sensible, capable, and very likable. The sound of slaps on the face could be clearly heard in the large living room. The old man was actually boasting shamelessly, calling Su Yifeng a stray dog just moments ago and calling him a lunatic. And yet, in just a moment, his choice of words had changed dramatically. How laughable. That's right. It took us a long time to find our son, and we want to give him the best things in the world. That's why Huang Yao might have to groom a new assistant, and Feng would return to inherit the family business. Mama Su deliberately said in front of the old man. That would be a great loss for Huang Yao. Mama Su laughed, but noticed that Xing Minglan's eyes were red and waved at fourth sister. What's wrong, fourth sister? Why are your eyes so red? She's just a kid who likes to cause trouble, so I've scolded her a little. Feng likes that kid, and so do we. I just don't know if old Mr. Xing would agree to it. The Su family was a renowned family in the medical field. Unless Elder Su's brain was damaged, he wouldn't agree to it. However, considering the situation just now, his words were a different story. Auntie, to tell you the truth, Jing Yun was bullied quite badly just now. Xing Minglan seized the chance to tell Mama Su. Grandpa thought that Jing Yun had no background and was poor, so he humiliated him and disagreed with us being together. Mama Su's expression changed at that, and she turned to old Xing. Oh, Mr. Y. I didn't know Jing Yun's identity, I thought. It said that one shouldn't bully a young man for being poor. Shouldn't an old man look at the young man in the long term? Papa Su promptly cut old Xing short. And here I thought that Feng would tell you that he is the young master of the Su family. So he didn't. Since the Su family is indebted to you, old mister, we won't hold it against you. Still, Feng is the third young master of the Su family from now on, and naturally wouldn't return to the Xing family. Of course. As for Minglan, I really like her, but I can see that you really don't want her to be with our Feng. That's why we shouldn't force it. Mama Su said deliberately. I'm really sorry for bothering you today. Old Xing's expression was awkward, even angry. After all, he was humiliating someone else's child just a second ago, and the next second someone else's parents came to him. Moreover, Jing Yun was no stray dog, but the third young master of the Su family. Butler, see our guests out. The old man did not keep the Su couple. How could he? Oh, by the way, we'll announce that Feng has returned to the Su family. We'll invite guests when the time comes, and we hope that you would do us the honor of coming, old Mr. Xing. Of course. The old man said with a sheepish smile. After that, the Su couple left, and the old man turned to Xianxia again. You did it on purpose. You knew about this all along, didn't you? So what? Xianxia retorted. You've always despised the poor and loved the rich. If I don't leave a deep impression on you, how would you know that there's a saying in this world? Don't bully the poor when you're young? You can humiliate Jing Yun all you want. It's fine. After all, he has all the ways to make trouble for you and take his revenge after he inherits the Su family's business. Unless you're not sick. The old man clutched his chest in frustration and stumbled a few steps back. The Su family is moving to Jianchuan soon. It's fine if you don't agree to fourth sister and Jing Yun being together. They would still be together anyway, and it just depends on whether you want to be bullied or thanked. The old man closed his eyes, clearly sensing Xing Zhao's threat. If the old man did not let Xing Minglan go, it would be the Xing family who would suffer when Jing Yun took his revenge. Take your time to think about it. Xing Xiao glanced at the old man before turning to Mama Xing. Both mother and son shared a look with a tacit understanding between them. After a while, the old man closed his eyes and told Xing Minglan, "Go, fourth sister." What else could he do? When Jing Yun tried everything he could to persuade him, the old man refused and wanted to humiliate him. But now that he knew who Jing Yun was, he could only admit defeat and appease him. Wasn't that despicable? Xing Minglan glanced at the old man and promptly ran out of the Xing residence. The old man knew very well how much she hated the old man. His granddaughter was gone. Be that as it may, he did not lose anything by marrying into the Su family in name. Still, he was not sure if Jing Yun would hold a grudge for what happened today. Sco. We've had enough drama. The old man was exhausted. Eighth brother, you really want to see me die. If you're a good grandfather, everyone wants you to live to 100 years old. At those words, the old man turned and left the living room. Of course, Xing Xiao had a new plan in mind after that. It was time to say goodbye to the Xing family. Otherwise, there was no guarantee that he and Xiaoqia would not face such a scene one day. He knew very well what the old man was planning. It's treacherous to toy with your grandfather like that. Mama Xing criticized Xing Xiao afterward. Still, I have to say that Jing Yun is really patient. He didn't even use his status as a bargaining chip under such circumstances. He's too stupid. He thought that the old man would have a hint of mercy, and that his sincerity could move the old man. Your grandfather is actually quite pitiful. Mama Xing couldn't help sighing at that. It's funny. He was humiliating Jing Yun just a second ago, and then... It's really ironic how his faction behaves. Chapter 352. Jing Yun wouldn't be feeling much better right now. Mu Qiqi sighed beside them. The old man had humiliated him and embarrassed him so much. How much tolerance did he have to endure to forgive the old man's actions today? Even if Jing Yun was best at tolerance, Mama Xing turned to look at Mu Qiqi. Mama Xing tilted her head and looked at Mu Qiqi. This child was becoming more and more mature. She was no longer the little girl she first met. Thinking about their future, Mama Xing said to Xing Xiao, "Do whatever you want to do. I don't want Mu Qiqi to have to endure such humiliation. I can't explain it to the Shen family." Xing Xiao's gaze was as sharp as an eagle's. Holding Mu Qiqi's hand, he tightened his grip. "Thanks, Mom. Let's go home." Both of them left the Xing family and returned to Jingting. Right now, Mu Qiqi was only concerned about Xing Minglan and whether she could find Jing Yun. In the end, Mr. and Mrs. Su were venting for their son, and to let everyone know who he was, they proposed a grand banquet to reintroduce him in front of everyone. As for Jing Yun, he was sitting in his car, calming himself. After sitting by the seaside for a long time, he drove home. But when he opened the door, he found Xing Minglan throwing herself at him tearfully. "I thought you didn't want me anymore." Jing Yun took a deep breath in resignation and hugged Xing Minglan. "I would have done it long ago if I could. Jing Yun, what Grandpa said to hurt you, you wouldn't believe me if I said I didn't mind. I need time." Xing Minglan nodded tearfully, peeking out of Jing Yun's arms and holding his hand tightly. "Grandpa won't interfere with us anymore. He won't interfere in the future either." Jing Yun said nothing and simply held Xing Minglan in his arms again. It was all thanks to the Su family that they could achieve their goals. That was why Jing Yun felt that he owed Xing Minglan. He promised her but couldn't bring her away, and if not for the Su family, his head would have been separated from his body. It took them a long time to calm down. It was only when Jing Yun received a call from his parents that night. Jing Yun drove Xing Minglan back to the Su family's new manor in Jianchuan. His identity had officially changed now. "Feng, I'm fine." Jing Yun comforted the two elders. "I didn't think that you would come in time. It was your brother who suggested that we help you vent your anger. No matter what, you're home now. No one would dare to bully you from now on. Mama Su explained to Jing Yun before pulling them to sit down. Su Yihong sneered as he looked at the family downstairs. No one bullied them. He was the first to bully Jing Yun. Otherwise, would he have let Jing Yun recall the past and expose him in front of his parents? At that thought, Su Yihong went downstairs and told Jing Yun, "Third brother, you don't have to be an assistant to the Xing family anymore. You should return to the Su family and help your brother with the family business. I don't understand medicine, nor do I understand equipment. You can learn if you don't understand." Su Yihong clapped his hand on Jing Yun's shoulder. "You're so smart and would definitely learn it quickly. Still, you've fallen out with the Xing family. What do you plan to do, fourth miss? Since you still intend to be with fourth miss, then you can't forget about the necessary etiquette. I'll go to the Xing family to ask for her hand in marriage in the future," Jing Yun said composedly. "Good." Mama Su nodded. Although she did not like the old man of the Xing family, she was satisfied with Xing Minglan as her daughter-in-law. Still, they would have to avoid unnecessary contact with the Xing family. "Don't leave tonight since you're back." Papa Su urged Jing Yun and Xing Minglan to stay. "Your brother has prepared a room for you." Jing Yun turned to Su Yihong and thanked him. "Thank you, brother." Be that as it may, there was a hint of wariness. "We're family. No need to be so polite." Su Yihong had changed his strategy and acted like a good brother. But the truth was that he wanted to gain their trust and drive a wedge between Jing Yun and their parents. Was he going to take Jing Yun's life otherwise? Jing Yun glanced at Su Yihong out of the corner of his eye before holding Xing Minglan's hand tightly. It was only when they were alone in the room that he had Xing Minglan sit on the edge of the bed while he knelt on one knee. "I'm useless. I can't rely on myself to take you away from the chairman, and I can't really make him acknowledge me. Jing Yun, you've done enough," Xing Minglan said, stroking his face. "I know what kind of person grandfather is. That attitude of yours is the greatest affirmation for me. There's still a long way to go. One day grandfather would sincerely show goodwill to you." Jing Yun had gone through all that and was still burdened with hatred. He should have been resentful after being humiliated by the old man, but he had none. "From now on I'll be wherever you are. I'll never be separated from you." Jing Yun nodded and the two of them hugged each other tightly. Although they took such a big detour, at least the two of them could finally be together without any obstacles. "Still, are you really leaving eighth brother to join Su Holdings?" "Yes." Jing Yun nodded. "I want to protect you." On this day, Xianxia knew very well that his assistant was really leaving his side. Still, it was not a pressing matter. "You can't bear to lose your assistant?" Mu Qiqi teased Xianxia when she saw him reading the documents from Huang Yao's HR department. "You're treating them like a beauty pageant. Is there anyone you like?" "It's just a bunch of good-for-nothings. It's impossible to find someone like Jing Yun, so I'll just make do with one." With that, Xianxia picked up his glasses from the bedside table and put them on. It was the first time Mu Qiqi saw Xianxia wearing glasses. A good-looking person would naturally look good in everything, and glasses were a plus. "Xiao, do you think Jing Yun would change when he returns to the Su family?" Xing Zhao's gaze was sharp as he looked down at Mu Qiqi teasingly. "Why are you so emotional all of a sudden?" "I just feel like I'll lose Jing Yun." Xiao pinched Mu Qiqi's cheek and put down the documents in his hand, patting her butt. "Go to sleep. Aren't you going to observe with your mentor tomorrow?" "Got it." Mu Qiqi lay in Xing Zhao's arms and closed her eyes. "I can't help you with anything. You would definitely feel worse facing the old man than Jing Yun." Xing Zhao said nothing and merely lowered his head to kiss Mu Qiqi's forehead. "You don't know, but you would be the greatest help to me as long as you insist on being yourself. I don't need you to compromise with anyone or anything." Chapter 353. As a matter of fact, Xianxia did not just want an assistant. He also wanted someone who could take on the responsibility to manage Huang Yao. His father might have some tricks up his sleeve, but he lacked charisma. Still, only third brother and fifth brother were doing things in the Xing family. The other uncles were doing things on their own and did not treat Huang Yao as a family matter at all. There was also another reason: they were used to being oppressed by the old man. And what was he thinking? He was looking for his father-in-law, Shen Jianxuan, to prepare a path of retreat for him and his little one. It was late at night and Jianchuan was freezing in the harsh winter. But the old man was sitting stiffly in his study, and did not step out for the entire day. He felt humiliated when he recalled what happened with Jing Yun. Why did Jing Yun have to be a descendant of the Su family? More terrifyingly, he would have to change his attitude and treat Jing Yun politely if he came to the Xing family after what he had done to humiliate him. That was really embarrassing for him. The old man sighed, but soon received a call from the Gu family, who suggested a meeting with the old man to discuss the matter between Xianxia and Miss Gu in detail. The old man nodded, feeling that there was no time to waste. Otherwise, Xingzhao's arrogance would become more and more difficult to suppress. Let's do it this weekend. We'll plan it then. The other party agreed to his suggestion and hung up. Once Miss Gu agreed to marry into the Xing family, the old man would immediately find a reason for her to join the Xing family and familiarize herself with the family. The next day, Mu Qiqi went to school early in the morning. She found her tutor and followed her to the criminal investigation unit. It was said that they had found a corpse with a heavy taste yesterday, and that they would conduct an autopsy today to determine the identity and time of death. Although Mu Qiqi had seen the corpse several times, it was always acceptable. But this time it was said that the corpse had turned into a giant. And the so-called giant meant that the corpse was so badly decomposed that it had expanded, making it look like a giant. Of course, it was so disgusting that its eyeballs were squeezed out of its face. It was so rotten that anyone who saw it wouldn't stop vomiting. Even Mu Qiqi, who was usually calm, threw up by the pool when she saw it. The few senior brothers had vomited a few times and were comforting each other. Look at you, you're such a good wife of a rich family. Why are you so stubborn and willing to suffer with us? Mu Qiqi perked up, but when she turned to look at the corpse, she vomited again. Seeing this, the tutor finally smiled. Seeing how calm you were previously, I really thought that your mental fortitude was really strong. I didn't expect. It's fine. I'll be fine after vomiting. Mu Qiqi rinsed her mouth and wiped her mouth. Then she continued listening to the forensic analysis. Fortunately, when his gaze was focused on a specific area, it wasn't so uncomfortable. Still, Mu Qiqi did not look too good when she vomited like that. There was no telling how Xingxiao would feel when he saw that. That morning, Xingxiao did not arrive at Huangyao on time. He did not bring Mu Qiqi with him and went to the Shins on his own. When Huang Yu saw that, she thought that Xingxiao and Mu Qiqi had a conflict. She quickly went to Grandpa Xing, but Xingxiao explained, Xiaozhi has always been the one bullying me. When did I not spoil her? It's hard to say. Huang Yu was not easy to fool. How intelligent was Xingxiao? Was there anyone in Jianchuan who did not know? Xingxiao smiled and went to Grandpa Shin's fish pond. However, the old man was not there today. He had gone to visit his comrades and only Xin Jianchuan was there. Looking for Grandpa? For you. Xingxiao said, leaning against a wooden pillar in the pavilion. I don't think I have any reason to refuse what you suggested before. Are you sure you don't even want your status as the crown prince? Xin Jianchuan asked in return. In fact, he had already guessed that Huang Yao was not a cage that would imprison Xingxiao given his personality. I just want to give Qi-er a clean future. Xingxiao replied, looking at Xin Jianchuan. But I have to prepare first and Huang Yao needs to deal with the aftermath. If your grandfather knows that you want to start your own business with me, do you think he would have a heart attack? Father-in-law, don't be so sarcastic. Xingxiao was displeased. I have a document with me. Take a look at it. Combining the connections and status the Shen family has accumulated over the years, as well as your expertise, I think this line of work is the most suitable for us. Incidentally, there are 2 military enterprises that are about to close in the suburbs of Jianchuan. Buying them would not be a problem. Xingxiao was intrigued. Do you want to see my ability to negotiate a partnership? Xin Jianchuan shrugged. Deal with the aftermath well. We can't let the old man hate us. That depends on him. Xingxiao's meaning was self-evident. If the old man showed restraint, he would do his best to bring Huang Yao to new heights before handing it over to the Xing family. But if the old man became even worse, not even the gods could hold back. Don't let Xiaoqi know about this for now. She has a soft heart and would easily feel guilty towards the old man. I will arrange everything properly. Xin Jianchuan certainly had no reason to doubt Xingxiao's ability. With the two of them together, there would be another storm. Xingxiao planned to take care of both sides, and naturally would not let anyone know that he and Shen Jianchuan were up to something else. He knew all too well that Chia would have more and more freedom as he climbed higher and higher. In the end, the two men were only doing it to protect the person most important to them. In the afternoon at the Su residence, while Xing Minglan was napping in her room, Mama Su called Jing Yun to a corner and told him, "Since you're living with Minglan, you should settle things as soon as possible so that outsiders wouldn't gossip. You should settle things with Minglan now that your identity has been revealed, but before that, you have to go to the Xing family to propose marriage." "I know, Mother. I'll prepare a gift for you. Bring more people with you when the time comes, and don't lose face as the young master of the Su family." Mama Su was actually afraid that Jing Yun would be bullied by the Xing family again. "Incidentally, I have some matters to settle with the Xing family. Don't go overboard for Minglan's sake. Just know your limits." Jing Yun nodded. At the very least he had to go to Jing Ting and hand over everything. Chapter 354. Mu Qiqi's complexion was terrible when she reached home. Her stomach had been emptied, so how could she be spirited? She had thought that her complexion would improve if she rested while Xianxia was not home. But how could she have known that Xianxia did not go to Huangyao today? Xingzhao's face fell when he saw Mu Qiqi's pale little face. "Come here. No, I really stink today more than ever before." Mu Qiqi refused and hugged herself. "I'm going to take a shower. The perfume specially made for you has been delivered to the house. It's in the bathroom, but come here first." Xingxiao called out to her patiently. Helpless, Mu Qiqi could only walk to Xingxiao and sit beside him. Xingxiao pulled her into his arms, cupped her face and studied it carefully. "Vomiting?" "Yeah." Mu Qiqi nodded and suddenly went limp in Xingxiao's arms. "It's disgusting. It's a male corpse today and it's been more than 20 days since he died. The degree of decomposition is already colossal." "Little one." Xingzhao's heart ached. He knew what a forensic doctor's job was and what they had to face. Such vomiting was a common occurrence and there was no telling how long it would take for the little one to really adapt. Could it be that he would have to see her vomiting so pale every day? Xingxiao hugged his little one for a while before patting her head. "Go take a shower. I'll have Aunt Wu make you something good for your stomach. But there should be a smell on your body." Xingxiao did not allow her to argue and simply put down the documents and picked Mu Qiqi up. Both of them went to the bathroom and soaked in the water. Fortunately, the specially made perfume made Mu Qiqi feel much better. "What good stuff. Wouldn't it be great if forensic doctors could enjoy it? You ungrateful little one. Do you know how expensive one bottle is?" Xingxiao could not help poking her nose. "The happiness of the rich is truly unimaginable." Mu Qiqi sighed as she lay in the water. Since Mu Qiqi's stomach was empty, Xingxiao did not let her keep soaking in the water, and simply wrapped her up in a towel before carrying her to the bed. "Why didn't you go to Huangyao today?" "I'm waiting for Jing Yun to come. He's the young master of the Su family now. There's no need for him to enter Huangyao personally." "It sounds a little businesslike." "How can there be someone who stays the same? The environment will change and you have to learn to accept it." Hadn't Mu Qiqi accepted enough along the way? Now that she was the granddaughter of the Shen family and Xingzhao's fiancé, she also had her own responsibilities. She had never really treated herself as a crystal in Xingzhao's palm that would shatter at the slightest touch. Then there shouldn't be any problems with fourth sister and Jing Yun's marriage. After a while, Aunt Wu told them outside the door, "Young master, young madam, special assistant Jing is here. Dry it yourself. It has to be completely dry." Xingxiao put the hairdryer in Mu Qiqi's hand and changed into a clean set of clothes before heading downstairs. When Jing Yun arrived at Jingting, he was carrying a lot of documents. Apart from the ones Xingxiao had to read, the rest were handled by Jing Yun. "Young master, Huang Yao has already suspended me from my duties, so there's no need to go through the formalities." "You're still calling me young master?" Xingxiao found the documents amusing. "You're a disciple of a noble family now. You don't have to lower yourself. To me, you'll always be my young master." Jing Yun maintained his humble attitude towards Xingxiao. "When are you going to tell me about fourth sister?" "In 2 days I'll go to the Xing family to ask for her hand in marriage." Jing Yun replied. "When the time comes I'll marry Minglan openly." The old man doesn't have time to care about you too because this outcome isn't too bad for him. Still, you'd better straighten your posture. You're not the one begging him now. Xianxia said lazily. I understand. I really shouldn't have sent sixth brother away. Let him open his eyes. At that thought, Xianxia suddenly had a mischievous idea. Why don't I send him back? There's no need, young master. You have to keep an eye on your brother. He wouldn't let you stay in the Su family for too long because you're a ticking time bomb to him. Xianxia reminded Jing Yun. I understand. I'm doing everything I can to investigate his relationship with eldest uncle. It would be perfect if I could take off this person's mask during the reunion banquet. Even so, Sui Hong was not that easy to deal with. Alright, put it down and go back to work. You have to start anew after joining Su Holdings, and Huang Yao has nothing to do with you anymore. You and the Sheng family owe each other nothing. After all, the Sheng family had raised Jing Yun for so many years. Moreover, he had contributed much to the Sheng family as well, and this exchange was to lighten the burden in his heart. Young master, can we still be like before? What do you want to change? Xianxia raised a brow at him. By the way, treat fourth sister better. Jing Yun nodded and turned to leave Jing Ting. His current status was no longer what it used to be. Still, when he thought of sixth brother, Xianxia had someone tactfully spread the news that Jing Yun and Xing Minglan were going to marry each other even if Jing Yun didn't mind, although he did not tell him Jing Yun's true identity. He even found an excuse to send him back to the country. He just wanted to see how sixth brother would call Jing Yun a dog in front of his face. Meanwhile, when the old man learned that Jing Yun had handed over matters of Huang Yao, he had to accept that Jing Yun was now the young master of the Su family. Soon the weekend came. Since old Xing had an appointment with the Gu family, he left early in the morning with no one knowing his whereabouts. It was naturally best for him to be as discreet as possible. What would happen if Xiao found out? The Gu family sent Miss Gu's mother, and they met in a private room of a hotel. Sharing a glance, they knew that they were on the same wavelength. Old Xing spoke first. Madame Gu, you must be aware of my eighth brother's current situation. It's unbecoming of him to be obsessed with a teenage girl. Who in Jianchuan doesn't know that? Mama Gu nodded, indicating that she understood what the old man was thinking. That's why we were really surprised when you came to us. To tell you the truth, my Xiling has the same problem. She used to like a poor brat, and for the sake of this man she almost died. A few days ago the two of them finally broke up, so I brought up the matter with Xiling. I never thought that she would actually agree. After all, how many young ladies in Jianchuan could resist the crown prince's charm? Chapter 355. It's not that we don't want to, we just have to wait for the right time. That said, I do hope that Miss Gu could join the Xing family as soon as possible and learn how to manage the family. Old Xing told Mama Gu politely. As long as old Mr. Xing could pave the way for Xiling soon, I would do my best to persuade you. That's settled then. The two agreed. As for what old Xing would come up with to separate Xiao and Muqiqi, the Gu family would wait and see. Sixth brother had gone all the way to Africa. When he learned that Jing Yun and Xing Minglan were about to get married, he was left fuming. The young lady of the Sheng family, the great fourth miss, was actually marrying a penniless wretch. He really wanted to know what spell Jing Yun had cast on the old man that he would agree to the marriage even though the old man had always valued sectarianism. That was why he really could not hold back even if Xiao forbade him from going home. Had his grandfather gone mad? No one had told sixth brother Jing Yun's identity, and no one in Jianchuan was aware that Jing Yun was the third young master of the Su family. Still, when he saw that he had immediately booked a flight home and remembered his pitiful sister who had been chased out of the family, why did eighth brother and his dog get to have their wishes fulfilled? Was he not convinced? Meanwhile, Jing Yun's plan to propose marriage to the Xing family had been settled. Still, he had not thought about how he should behave when he met old Xing. Meanwhile, the old man was utterly reluctant when he learned that Jing Yun was going to the Xing family, even if he was not against the marriage between Jing Yun and fourth sister. Even so, he had to make the necessary arrangements. On the night of the next day, the old man had the Xing family return for a banquet. Soon Jing Yun arrived with gifts, but he did not come alone this time. He had brought 4 bodyguards, and that was not counting the attendants who had helped him with the gifts. As expected, a person would become completely different once he gained power. Even the way you looked at him would change. Jing Yun is really different now that he's the young master of the Su family. That's right. The 4 bodyguards are clearly stopping the Xing family from insulting him again. I've seen the gifts too. They're all very valuable. As the Xing family discussed in private, the old man turned to Jing Yun. Jing Yun was still the same old Jing Yun, cold and aloof. Jing Yun, why didn't you tell us who you were earlier? In this way, the incident on that day would not have happened. It doesn't matter if I'm a member of the Su family or not. I sincerely want to marry Minglan. Jing Yun answered the old man. He had never sat at the guest seat in the Xing family for so many years. But that's not the same. The old man told Jing Yun honestly. You have to understand how much effort I put in as a grandfather. Minglan is a fine young lady. If I let her marry a bad man, how could I face her parents? So, am I worthy of Minglan now? Jing Yun asked old Xing in return. That's for sure. The old man replied. Since you've come to propose today, we'll let bygones be bygones. Since you've come, it means that you're determined to marry Minglan. With that being the case, let's sit down and talk about the date of your wedding. But before that, I hope that everyone in Jianchuan knows about you, the young master of the Su family. Jing Yun hated every word that came out of the old man's mouth. Reputation, profit. Those were all the old man cared about and never cared if Minglan was living well. That was why he had to come today. He would free Minglan from the abyss of misery that was the Xing family. 8th brother doesn't seem to be here tonight. The old man looked around but did not see either of them. He has always thought of you as a brother. Why isn't he here on such an important day? And why isn't Minglan home when we're clearly talking about your wedding? Jing Yun thought about it for a moment before answering the old man. Because she said that she doesn't want to come back. She's more at home with the Su family. How can you talk to your father like that, Jing Yun? 4th uncle retorted coldly. Those are Minglan's words. 4th sister hasn't married into the Su family yet. But in my heart she's already my wife. Jing Yun was neither servile nor overbearing. He no longer had the dejection of an assistant of the Xing family, and now had a new identity. 4th uncle Xing was left speechless. That was when Xing Xiao and Mu Qiqi appeared before the crowd. Sorry we're late. Since you're back, let's talk about 4th sister and Jing Yun's wedding. The old man told Xing Xiao. Of course Mu Qiqi had no place in his eyes at all. I'm only concerned about how much dowry you've prepared for 4th sister. Xing Xiao raised a brow. That was when 6th brother rushed back to the Xing family's residence, only to find Jing Yun in the living room. Dropping his luggage, he went up and grabbed Jing Yun's collar, only to be thrown over his shoulder by Jing Yun's bodyguard, who landed heavily on the ground. 6th brother rose to his feet in pain and pointed at Jing Yun's nose, barking, "You pathetic dog. How dare you sit here? Don't tell me you really want something to happen with 4th sister? I'm telling you that's impossible. This is the Xing family." Shut up, 6th brother. The old man was furious. He had been avoiding an awkward situation all night, but he did not expect that 6th brother's return would catch him off guard. Grandfather, what kind of magic potion did 8th brother feed you? 6th young master, he's innocent. I won't hold a grudge against him. Jing Yun said magnanimously then. But the tone of his voice was clearly sharp. That was when 6th brother laughed. Who do you think you are? Those who don't know are innocent? What a joke. 6th brother, that's the 3rd young master of the Su family. Don't you be rude. The old man couldn't hold back any longer and told 6th brother the truth. Jing Yun is no longer the Jing Yun you used to be. Don't embarrass me. At that, 6th brother pointed at Jing Yun and laughed. Him. Don't tell me he's impersonating you to get your approval? Look at him, grandfather. How does he look like a young master of a rich family? Xing Xiao said nothing in response and simply looked at Jing Yun. You're tuning in to the Zhou Xian's Legacy YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.